Welcome back. This is Akinar here with more blueprints. And as I was starting the recording, just before I hit the record button, I noticed a new detail here on the title screen. The globe over here actually has the word Arindia on it. I never noticed that before. There's also what I think is EdgeSay. I don't remember EJ. I don't remember what prefix that is. We'll have to check our Eurasian notes, but I think SEI is C. So I don't know. Those are clues that are probably not meant to be clues in the overall game progress. Probably not hiding something here on the title screen that we need to digest. But you never know in a game like this, and it is a new detail that I picked up. But in any case, let's get in to day 38, shall we? I am feeling just a little bit subpar today. I'm getting over the remnants of a head cold. Nothing major, but also had a little bit of poor sleep last night. Woke up and wasn't able to get back to sleep for a while. Ended up falling prey to the temptation of playing some Balatro on my phone, so maybe stayed up a little bit longer than I should have during that little brief bout of insomnia. But I think I ultimately did get a full 8 hours if you add up the different segments of actual sleep. So, but perhaps those combination of factors will lead the brain into misfiring today, at least a little bit more than usual. We'll see how things go. Our inventory, I wanted to check here and see what we have going in from our moon pendant. We have the lockpick and a coupon book, as well as our key card that we got to call it a day with. So there we go. And we've got our wonderful stockpile of allowance that we have been adding to in recent days. And it's time to draft our outer room and see. We're really hoping for a shrine. I now have this idea in my mind, perhaps almost a main objective idea that I've had from Her Ladyship's Diary. This, I cannot help but get the idea of the Blessing of the Monk out of my head. I have been thinking about this quite a bit, and it's like kind of the number one thing that I want to do now. We'll see if we get our hands on a shrine. In fact, we'll find that out in just a moment. Let's click the button and see. Let's see. Dang it. No shrine. However, there is a schoolhouse, and that's kind of like objective number 2 in terms of outer rooms that we want to draft. Because really, most outer rooms, like the root cellar and the shelter, I'm not that interested in. And until I get a nudge from one of you all that says, you know what, you might want to recheck that root cellar. Those are kind of on the back burner because the shrine is priority number 1, and if we don't get that, then I think the schoolhouse is the next best objective. We just need to get our hands on a lot of gems. But hopefully we can do that by getting a sledgehammer here to open some trunks. So that's good. The schoolhouse has been a nice little source of items when we've been picking it up lately. So that's cool. So we'll see how things go today, but there's a possibility that we might get to retake our final exam. Let's see how it goes. But we've got some other objectives as well that we want to continually draft the treasure trove. I want to draft the tunnel again. I'm kind of curious to see if there might be something that happens if we draft the tunnel consecutively. We only drafted it the one time. We didn't keep extending it because now, thankfully, our curse is gone. We don't have to worry about the curse from the shrine. Not the cursed coffers curse, I'm guessing. I'm sure that's going to be something way worse. But yeah, let's open up our first door here. Aha, and that's a mailroom. I think that's a great way to start the day. Why don't we start with our mailroom? And if this does contain a compass, I'm probably happy to pick that up, I think. Probably just going to go with the flow and take whatever items are granted us. We're really just hoping for gems. We do get 2 gems, as well as 2 keys, and a sleeping mask. That is a great, I have to say, that's one of the best. I think I would take dice instead of a sleeping mask, but this is one of the best mail rooms that we've had. Because there have been some duds, to be frank. But I like that. That's a good start, because now we can get the classroom train rolling. There's also a magnifying glass here? Hello? There's a magnifying glass in the mailroom. What is going on? Do I have some hidden buff today? That's bestowed. We got a sledgehammer in the schoolhouse and a magnifying glass. I don't know if I've ever seen an item. Maybe there's been an item in the mailroom before that's been not delivery related. And obviously we picked up our trophy here once for the sweepstakes, but just a random magnifying glass? All right. That kind of counteracts our special order, which I think we did. I think we've been continuing to do the special order for the special order in getting the magnifying glass from our terminals. We still got to figure out nuance and its sigil down below. We'll see if we get to that later. I'm thinking it's got to be a weather thing. Like I just need to maybe try all the different combinations of weather, because it's a gosh darn blimp. And so it has to be aviation in terms of the rays, the number of rays. And I feel pretty confident about its green border and it being a diamond. Maybe I need to review the classroom to be sure of that. But let's get to it. Let's see if we start getting some classrooms, shall we? I don't know which side is the best to go, but I kind of like starting on the east side. And that tends to work out. There's a coat check. That could be a nice thing to pick up to really get our gem count boosted up early here. It would make the draft a little bit constrained, but we always have a key card if we want to go outside and up into the foundation. I think, though... I don't think it's the spare master bedroom. The library... By the way, I did get a nudge since I asked about a new clue. I did receive a nudge that, you know what? There is still something that you might need to notice in a new clue. So whenever we do get our hands on a library today, we'll be checking that out again. A new clue still has information for us, apparently. I do want my crown. I like the crown a lot. But I really don't like putting 2 dead ends on the entrance hall, even when I have the foundation to go to still. So I'm going to settle for the... I mean, I could take the spare master bedroom and just not go there yet. We don't have to get the steps from the spare master bedroom just yet. Maybe that's the better way to go here. You know what? I will do that. I actually like the fact that the spare master bedroom gets us to the corner once we do decide to take that route. I take back what I said about not taking the spare master bedroom, because I love the fact that we don't have to take the steps proc right away. We can build up our room count a bit more before we go down that route. I think we take a classroom here. We're on 4 gems, and this will give us some re-rolls here too. We really want to start. I have to remember that the library does buff the classrooms, right? So right now we have 2 re-rolls because of 1 classroom and 1 schoolhouse, but both the reading nook and the library are buffs for the classrooms in general. And of course the classrooms just buff future classrooms. But I think this leaves me at 3 gems, so I can still afford basically any room in the house. I think I take the first classroom here over the library or the reading nook. I think I want the classroom. And then we'll go in this direction. Do I spend any time reviewing my colors? I feel pretty confident that we figured out... We know Araja for sure is purple. And I think we know that we're pretty confident about Arch Aries being yellow and Kararika being orange. I don't think we need to spend time reviewing this here. There are 2 dice. Guys, what is going on here? What in the world... The items are just all over the place today. I'm not gonna complain. It's just throwing me for a loop. That's all. How are we getting so many items in our rooms today? Are there any other details that I could have overlooked in the classroom? I don't think so in first grade, but I think we should maybe spend some time in the other grades reviewing some details. We'll see how things go. There's a second classroom, though, and it is pointing in the right direction. The dormitory is another room that we could consider adding at some point today. That's always nice to go with a schoolhouse classroom draft if it's in the right position. But I think this is a very straightforward classroom, I think. It does take us down to 2 gems. So I'm getting, you know, I would want maybe a den next. Maybe. But you don't have to necessarily. Like, the more classrooms you get, the classrooms kind of naturally chain themselves together. Because if you don't get a classroom right away, you can just keep redrawing for another one. But eventually you're going to run out of gems if you don't watch it. But I will take the classroom here instead of re-rolling, I think, just because it points the right direction. That's another good thing about this. So let's keep going, and I'll keep eating my apples and not waiting for... Like, maybe I should save these apples. We do get double observatory now is very often gets us farmer's apple. Although we know now the next observatory is going to get us an inkwell, so we'll have even more redraws. That was an exciting thing from last time, being able to redraw using your stars. Okay, let's keep on drafting this way. I kind of want a den. Here. Or a West Wing Hall. I think this is where I'm going to use a redraw because I don't want to spend every single gem that I've got right this second, and I want to be able to draft in both directions on the West Wing, if I can. So let's spend one of our classroom redraws, I think. So we could do, we have 2 more redraws, and then we still have 2, and then we have 2 dice as well. So I could settle for a bedroom if I don't want to spend a gem. That would get me some steps with my sleep mask, and it would let me draft the corner. Then we would go back over to the spare master bedroom and just get our handful of steps from that. That could be fine. If we take the classroom, we're down to 1 gem. And then whatever I draft next kind of needs to be like a commissary. That next gem, spending it on a room, I would want it to be like a commissary. But who knows how easy it's going to be to get a commissary when you've got all these like classroom, schoolhouse related rooms in the pool. We've got 2 more redraws. I'm going to go ahead and take the risk here, because if worse comes to worse, we can spend a die if we absolutely have to. But I really want to get a 3-way room here. There's my den. Okay. Take it. And now we get to draft the corner. And we'll see what we're looking for here. Kind of don't want to take a classroom now. Don't really want to take any of these. But is it worth spending a die here? I might just take the bedroom. Like, I don't love it, but it gets me some additional steps. And like, these are rooms, the nook and the classroom, you want to be able to draft out of. I would have taken a conservatory here, of course. Maybe. The conservatory does spend a gem. It might be smarter to save all your gems for classrooms to make sure you get that final exam again. But I don't think this is worth a redraw. Like, I'm not dying for, like, Her Ladyship's Chamber or anything like that. I think I'm okay settling. This feels bad, but I'll settle for the bedroom, and who knows, on a day like today, maybe we'll even get lucky. Look at that. We're getting so many items from rooms. What is going on here? This is the day 38 special, apparently. Every room gets an item. So we've got car keys. So we're now in the market for a garage. And we would already kind of be in the market for a garage when we're wanting keys, which we are still definitely wanting some keys. Now we take a library. And then we keep on drafting, I think. I think we take the library here. And we may end up spending a die or 2 to get a room that we really want. I don't know what we want from the library. An attic would be great. An attic is kind of... I would be fine dead-ending myself if it means getting an attic, because that's a lot of items. So... And I don't want to put a dormitory over here. The storeroom would be fine. Like, that is another gem. So it's worth debating between the storeroom and the library. But I kind of do like the thought of maybe getting an attic or some other spicy room. So hopefully, it's just that, you know that you're going to want to draft more classrooms. And almost more than any other day, gems is such a consideration. Yeah, I think I kind of convinced myself. I think we're going to take the storeroom to get that additional gem. And then I think we're actually just going to go to the foundation because we can draft more. We have 3 keys in addition to our 4 gems. And if we go to the foundation and we draft a few more rooms, even if we run out of keys and eventually have to come back, we get more steps from the spare master bedroom because of those extra rooms that we drafted. So I think that makes up for having to take the detour around to the foundation. So let's take the storeroom. We'll see, and we might even get, who knows what other items might be in here. So we got to be extra careful on this day. Extra item day 38. But I don't think I'm seeing anything here in the storeroom. So from here, we go back. We already got our steps from the bedroom and we got the car keys. So we head back through our first couple classrooms. Back to the entrance hall. And we will head around to 3 keys and a key card is a reasonable start from the foundation. And the foundation is another, it's a good chance to draft the garage straight away, which would get us even more keys. So it's just the power of having a key card to start your day, which is why the break room is like so overpowered. Why would you call it a day in any other room? It's just too good, guys. It's broken. Now, we don't have a shovel yet, so there's no digging up dig sites in the foundation or out in the schoolhouse. There was one. None of that business just yet. Oh, I forgot we have a lockpick kit as well. So that's even more reason for us to come here. So great. Locked doors are not going to be, hopefully, too much of a problem for us. Let's go first to the left, and if this is a garage, I might just take it. Ooh, but there's a parlor. So I will take the parlor over the garage. Because now, having remembered that there's a lockpick kit, now, if we miss out on the garage, like, yeah, I want to use my car keys, but what does it get us? It gets us a secret garden key, or a battery, or a broken lever. Stuff that if we miss out on those things, it's fine. What I really want is I want more gems. So let's take a parlor. And we will proceed. It also gets us a door that lets us maybe weave our way back into the base of our early ranks. Oh, I clicked out of the window here accidentally. Sometimes that happens when you pick up an item because your mouse all of a sudden goes off on its own as the item is toasting its pickup. The other 2 boxes are empty. The other 2 boxes are empty. That could be true, or it could be false. The other 2 boxes are false. Could also be true or false. The white box is true. Okay, I feel like this one is going to be less confusing than the one we had last time. But we're still going to have to, I think, make an assumption and see if we get a contradiction. So let's assume that this is true. If that's the case, and the white box is true, the other 2 boxes are false. We have a contradiction. So that means this has to be false, right? Which means the white box is also false. And that would make this true. The other 2 boxes are empty. Don't overthink it. Logic wins every time it's tried. You just have to use it. Even on a day when my brain might be a little fried from poor sleep. And just a little bit of sickness. It's all good, though. We got 7 gems. And a lockpick kit. Oh, it didn't work this time. We'll use a regular key. Take another classroom. Now that our gem count is good to go, I will definitely take a classroom in this spot. Classrooms all the way. Can we just take, if we wanted to here, if they point in the right directions, we might be able to take classrooms, because we've taken 3 so far and we have 6 gems left. We could just draft all the rest of the classrooms right now. And maybe I'll do that. We'll see. What was grade 3 again? All right, periodic table. I feel like this is another one that's not going to be... We should be good on this one. I don't feel like we'll need to review ahead of time on the final exam. I still don't quite... Like, this science worksheet didn't really help us that much on the final exam. I feel like my old high school chemistry knowledge was what carried us across the finish line. Because this certainly didn't teach me that silver is Ag. But, are you kidding me, guys? This draft is ridiculous. It's like it already had a lucky rabbit's foot that was applied to today's draft, and now we actually have a lucky rabbit's foot. Yo. Okay. This is fun. It's fun when there are items in the rooms that you draft. That's a fun thing. This observatory is not pointing the right direction. This hallway is. The hallway is. But like I said, I kind of want classrooms. And we have 4 redraws. 6 technically, if we count our dice. Like, the hallway is a perfectly sensible choice. And there's a good chance that we'll get a classroom from one of these other doors. So it's not required that we take the hallway, or that we take another classroom to make sure we string them all together. I think the smart pick here is to actually take the hallway. And with 6 classrooms still in our pool, we're going to pick up one, maybe even one at the end of this hallway, which is probably where I'd want it. I'd probably want it at the door at the far end, and maybe a dead end here to the right. But we're only at 2 keys. Yes, we have a key card. Yes, we have a lockpick kit. But that lockpick kit can fail. So let's just keep our key count around that 3 to 4 mark. And also we give ourselves an extra door here. I think I'm totally fine taking the hallway. It's just kind of, when you've got 4 redraws, you're always wondering, like, should I use some of those? We'll get chances to redraw. We will get other chances to redraw. Another thing that I've always wondered about is, where are the security cameras? We know there's security cameras that are watching over so many of these rooms, and the hallway is no exception, I don't think. And it's just, it's a really teeny tiny micro camera that's drilled into the wall. I want to take this door first, because if I don't get a classroom here, that might change how I draft from the other door. That is a classroom, and it is pointed in the direction that I want. That's a coat check, but we have not seen a single red room so far, I don't think, because of all these classrooms in our pool. So why don't we take another... Let's take the classroom, and this angles downward. We can draft a dead end, hopefully, next to... from the other door in the hallway, maybe even a dormitory. That might make sense. So let's take the classroom, and that's grade 4. We might spend a little time reviewing grade 4. Especially when we've got a magnifying glass. Let's draft the other door here. I don't love any of these necessarily. The observatory does get us the inkwell. It gets us the inkwell, which is good. It does spend a gem that we would not get back because we're getting the inkwell instead of Diamondus Major. But being able to redraw with your stars is really powerful. So it might still be correct to take the observatory. We wouldn't draft from it, obviously, when we have a classroom that we can draft from instead. I kind of don't want to spend the gem, though. Like, there's part of me that almost just wants to draft every single classroom to start the draft here. That might be silly of me, but I think it's a very real possibility when you're going to get so many rerolls from these classrooms just on their own. Why do you need the rerolls from the Inkwell? I think I'm just going to redraw. I'm gonna pass on the Inkwell here, specifically because we have the classrooms. I'd rather get a dead end or some other room that doesn't spend a gem here. That's also not a library. Dormitory is kind of what I was hoping for. I don't think we need a workshop. I don't think there's anything that I'm keen on making, even though we do get an item from it. But I think I'd rather get the steps here from the dormitory. And maybe there's an item in the dormitory as well, because we have a lucky rabbit's foot. Do we need security? I'm not desperate for security, even though we have a key card. I have gotten a little bit of a further nudge that it might be worth reviewing the... We did unlock the secret recordings, the surveillance footage. Finally figured that out last time. And there was one of the entrance hall that I didn't think too... it didn't seem like it was too significant, but I have been nudged to maybe take another look at that. But I don't think I want to do that here. I think I want the dormitory. This is a reasonable spot for the dormitory, because it's actually pretty... If we draft another classroom, we're going to get 10 steps plus 5 from the sleeping mask, and we even get a hall pass, which may come into play. We'll see. I don't remember what this does, actually. You will not lose steps traveling between 2 adjoining hallways. Okay, cool. And hallways drafted from an adjoining hallway do not cost gems to draft. Also... Okay. It's probably not going to come into play, but we do have rooms like the vestibule. The passageway is free now, so that one's not that's not one that you get a benefit from anymore from the hall pass. And we already drafted the 2 doors out of this hallway that are not hallways, but in any case, we're going to get, I think, some good value out of the dormitory with all of these classrooms that we're drafting. Okay, so the geography worksheet. Is there any chance that I have screwed up is there any chance that I've screwed up which shapes go with which countries? I think we're pretty confident about... So this is 5 of 7 for Artie, and I think he gets Arch Ares, Fen Ares, and Araja. Those are correct. This one here, this is where I'll need to bring up my notes. So let me get my notes where I can... Well, we don't necessarily... We're here in the classroom, so we can actually look at... Aha, Nuance. Nuance is the one here. And then we've got Morajai, Kararika, and Vera. Now, I am under the impression that the diamond is actually Nuance, and that Morajai is the orange slice. And that would make sense here, I think, because Kararika is the boomerang, and Vera is the puzzle piece. And we do know that for sure. The puzzle piece is... I guess I don't have these... Let me do my full screen here. The puzzle piece, we know from our sigil notes. The puzzle piece is confirmed to be Vera. We did get that one solved last time. So we know we definitely know that these are correct. The mountain being Arch Ares almost certainly is correct. So I think he just switched up Morajai and Nuance. We know for sure, so 5 of 7. We know that Araja is not in the right place here. It looks like Patricia just switched Nuance and Araja, because this is Fen Ares, this is Arch Ares, Morajai, Kararika, Vera. And then C- is a 4 out of 7. The 3 Ares are correct. Araja isn't an Ares, but they're all part of Arindia. Nuance is the diamond. And then over here, we just kind of rotated these 3. So these 3 over here are wrong. I think my understanding of the shapes is correct. I think I have them in the right place. C minus is 4 out of 7. So we got the political statement of Arinda Ares. That was wrong. We also got the puzzle piece over here for nuance, switched with the diamond for Vera, but the other two are right. Yeah, okay. I think we know what the shapes are. The shapes are on point. Let's get our apple. I suppose we could wait until drafting the next room to see if we like get a showroom before we draft that apple. Eat that apple. Draft apples. The favorite pastime of everybody. There are so many details on these geography charts that I just frankly don't know what to make of. Like we've got this sideways 8 down here, or the infinity symbol, which we know is also part of one of the gallery puzzles. And we also know that it was shown in the final... What's his name? The guy who's not going to talk to us anymore for a while. Alzara. His final cutscene, maybe, that we saw last time, is also displayed in some room, a hidden room somewhere here. I have wondered if that room that has the infinity symbol on pillars, if it is a room that exists, could it be down in... There's that big castle that's underground, right? The big castle that's down there that we saw through the part of the is it the reservoir or the you get there through the inner sanctum or next to the inner sanctum. Anyway, there was that window that we could look through, kind of like a black mirror now that I think of it. It had the shape of Arinda, or the Arinda Ares sigil or core. And when you stand far away from it, it's black. And then when you get close to it, you can see through it, just kind of like what we saw in the Alzara cutscene. I'm just realizing that connection as I'm talking this through. That's kind of exciting. Is that what the black mirror was a reference to? And when we look through there, we see what looks like a huge castle underground. Anyway, I don't know if I'm getting off topic here or not. There's this bit on the side that looks like this is the Kararika core. And then you've got like a mountain trail, which made me think that maybe like horses are used for its travel. These rough mountain trails. Also, I think we know that it's supposed to be snowy weather. If that's the stamp that's on... I think this was the stamp that was in the freezer. That looked like it was snowy weather. Oh, there's an eye in the middle here. I hadn't seen this before. What is this? This is called the North Circle. What information is important on this? There's an eye at the North Pole. What does that mean? I see some dotted lines, but I don't know if they're important. Are they showing like ship routes? It looks like the dotted lines go between the different land masses. Otherwise, there's no numbers or symbols or other markings. These guys at the bottom, suspicious monks with their... Are these cursed coffers? Is that what I'm actually seeing? There's no symbols on the boxes, but they have the same shape as the cursed coffers box. Are these the monks that are referred to by Blessing of the Monk? Also, are they affiliated with any realm? If this is a clue for Kararika on the side over here, is it possible that this down here is some clue for Vera? Because what did we determine about the sigil for Vera? We determined it was spiritual, didn't we? So is that what these guys represent? Spiritual? Oh, look at, there's some symbols on the back here. Oh, these symbols that are behind the monks are on the cursed coffers, aren't they? I recognize that hand and these other, I don't know what to call them. I do recognize those symbols. The cursed coffers maybe are connected to Vera. That's an interesting observation. Now, there's no turtles anywhere in... As far as I can tell, there's no turtles on this map. More Avon. What did that mean again? Go to our Arajan lessons. That's not the right one. I have to go to the classroom. The classroom, which is over here. Arajan. More. Or... Oh, I see. It's Mora. Excuse me. I made this mistake before. It's Mora Ven. Ven meaning like the end of. Or old. And Mora, I think, stands for Earth. Or it's the name of the planet that we're on. So this is like the end of the Earth? Why is it... Why is that what this hemisphere is called? And this one is known as Arindia? I feel like there's just so much to think about on these charts, and it definitely gets overwhelming. This down here we've looked at before. The number 46 inside of a circle, and you see the word Tor twice, which makes me have this association in my head that it's like it's talking about rotation. But over here we see ROT. That would be a more English abbreviation for rotation. What does Tor mean? Is Tor Arajan for angle? And if so, even if it is, where do I apply this? Like if this is supposed to be related to our castle message, 6 add 6. 6 add 6. Tor lore et. I don't know how this relates to the sacred circle. I don't know what to make of it all. Adse, this means first C. I don't think SEI is on... I'm not sure where I picked up the idea that SEI is C, but I feel like it must... I think I might have thought of it because it's on this chart. The fact that... What else could it mean? This is first C and last C? Is that right? Yeah. Seja, last C. Is any of this important for helping us solve any puzzles anywhere? We have Morajai. Could this over here be a clue for Morajai? And if it is, does the presence of these baskets on the ground... These baskets have, what do we have? Pumpkins and apples and other various produce. It's like they're harvesting, right? So this is what I think has led me to think, to get the idea for sigils, that maybe Morajai is agricultural. I think that's probably the best clue that we've got. There's also not that many options left. And I think that's the one that probably makes the most sense once we get a chance to actually try the core or the sigil inside that room when we get another sanctum key. The spiral of stars. We know this is related to the note in Her Ladyship's chamber. And we're starting to... Like, we kind of know the names of these planets, because on the other sheet here, we actually do have the names of the planets. I'm pretty sure we're on Mora. And then we've got Benmora, Vea, Memora, which that was the planet that we saw in the planetarium with the telescope, correct? And then we have Dauja. Checking my Arajan lessons again. MA is small. Small Earth. Okay. Or maybe Mora means planet. Why is one of them named Fen? Hopefully this is interesting, because I'm feeling very lost, but I'm trying to bring some semblance of order to those thoughts. Like, I do feel like going through these little details is helpful. Even if I don't get something solved right this second, you've got to get your brain, you have to work through and focus your brain on these details in order for it to connect the right neurons. Probably later when you actually get some good sleep, because that's when all that good neuroplasticity is going on. But I don't know if the lady at the top is supposed to be important. The bat and the eagle or falcon, bird of prey. How is this all utilized? I do feel like the stuff on the sides are clues about the type of sigil, the type of moat that's used for the sigil for those associated realms. I think that does make sense, and I wanna feel like nuance is this academic moat. We just haven't found the right weather, and that's where I don't think I have, or I haven't noticed the right clues to tell me what weather goes with what realm, and I might have to end up doing a little brute forcing. I'm hoping, well, we'll see. I don't want to brute force anything, but I'm feeling like I'm at that point with some of the information that we've got on sigils. What is this? The Seeker of Signs. How is this important? Why is Kararika in the middle of these other 6 sigils? Why is that important? Why is Kararika featured in the middle of the Seeker of Signs? That I don't understand. What was at the top here? Do we have, like... Is this a combination of realms? Are we looking at, like, one of the... Like, the Hunter-Gatherer realm? And they're, like, conversing with the Veran? The Vera people? The monks from Vera? Maybe their pope as well. But also maybe somebody, I don't know. The guy has like some fruit or something on the plate back there that he's bringing. Are they coming? Oh, there's another basket over here that's got like produce in it. So these could also be people from Morajai. So Morajai and Vera are coming to meet who? The people of... Who are the hunter-gatherers? Is that Kararika? The devoted circle. I don't know what to make of this. The fact that there's a devoted orbit that's 24 hours. The devoted moon, the rogue moon. How is that important to anything? Don't know. Horus with his children. Are these hunter-gatherers? Oh, are these Arajans, I wonder? I feel like the hat that's being worn by some of these people is actually the Arajan hat. And maybe up here as well? Ah. Could those be Arajans? But Arajans aren't hunter-gatherers, are they? They're more poetic. They've got the poetic moat. So I don't know. 3 of Tides. Isles of Orsay. I don't know what some of this is meant, how some of this is meant to be utilized. In Eclipse, Is Eclipse. Is this related to the devoted moon and the rogue moon? Okay, that's enough review for now, I think, on these. That's a good rehashing of what we know so far. For a second, I thought that this teapot was a new item. I was like, what did our lucky rabbit's foot give us now? Some new item that I've never seen before. By the way, I think I just remembered, as I mentioned that, there's some item. I was going through my notes, and there was something in the drafting strategy that there was some item in here that we've never got. Yeah, repellent spray. We've never picked this up, have we? This is in some room. Maybe it's in the room that we haven't that we haven't gotten our hands on yet. The last found floor plan. But I did notice this the other day when I was perusing some notes. I was like, wait a second. We've never picked this up. We have never gotten our hands on repellent spray. So there is a brand new item somewhere that's waiting for us. Eventually. I think this is a redraw. Yeah, we could take a library here, but I kind of just want to keep stringing together classrooms. And we have so many redraws. Oh, the hall pass shows up here as well. Not that that's relevant at the moment, but it does. I love how they put these little things here to remind you what you've got active for your draft. But I think we redraw for classrooms. Like library, what does it... We want to eventually get a library, and we should get one today because the buff to its offering rate should stay active even after we've drafted all the classrooms. I just want to prioritize classrooms, though, or rooms that have gems. If I'm going to take anything that's not a classroom, I think I want it to be something like a den. But here, I'd rather just get a classroom that angles me. It's a perfect spot for an elbow. So the classroom that angles in the right direction is what I would want. So I'm going to use a redraw. That's a study. That is a study. But do we need a study? The study is another room that gets buffed on a schoolhouse day, isn't it? Because study. You have to study for a final exam. We could take a reading nook here. We could take the reading nook for another key. Am I too devoted to the idea of getting every single classroom all in a row here? Because if I do that, I would want classroom here, here, and here. And then I guess have to be here. So eventually we might come back and fill out the rest of our base in the spare master bedroom. But yeah, I think I want to just keep re-rolling for... Like, the study gets us a gem. The study does get us a gem. And it probably gets us another item on top of that because we have this lucky rabbit's foot. I'm just going to keep going for classrooms, though. I'm going to keep doing it. I don't want to settle. Now, I also don't want to settle for a classroom that points in the wrong direction. So we got there, but not quite. If we, if you get something that we have to settle for that I don't love, we still got the doors out of the foundation and we've got the spare master bedroom. So keep using your redraws while you've got them. Keep using them. Okay, there's a commissary. That gets us a bunch of gems, doesn't it? Well, maybe. It's not guaranteed. But we do have a bunch of coins that we need to spend. It just doesn't point the right direction. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you not pointing the right way? There's also a coat check. If we finally see a red room here for the first time, would be a nice time to have a crown. Still have 2 more redraws from the classroom if we just want to keep going for that classroom that points to the correct direction. I think the reasonable pick, though, is the commissary. Like, there's such a high chance that this gets you gems, and probably more gems than you're going to need, in addition to whatever other item is there. It's just that we already did pick up a magnifying glass, so the commissary is a bit weaker because of that. I think I will settle for it, though. There's only 2 redraws left, and there's only 5 classrooms in our pool. We only saw the 1 classroom in those 4 draws, so getting one that actually points the right way in the last 2 draws might be pushing it. So we'll settle for the commissary and hope we get gems. There are... Okay, I do see gems. Okay, good. Got a little worried for a second because it didn't show up at the bottom. I thought this was going to be our stash of gems. The set of 4 or whatever that you get that you can buy all at the same time. Interestingly, I guess we did not do a magnifying glass special order. Okay. So, okay. I guess we just buy all the things, right? Let's buy all the things. We have a coupon book. So, of course, we buy all the things. What else are we going to use this allowance for? Oh, is this new? Did the gems used to go away when you buy them? Has that? did they patch this in? Feel free to, you can answer that if you want. But interesting. Because now if I buy, I'm guessing if I buy the keys, that they will also disappear as we buy them. Huh, I don't remember that happening before. Has this been the case the whole time with the commissary and I just never noticed? Do I buy all of these keys? I have a key card and I have a like I kind of if we get our hands on a showroom, buying an ornate compass is always such a great thing to have. So I might wait. We're going to have, I think, a lot of steps. So let's remember that we have 2 keys remaining here in the commissary. And we can come back for those if and when we need them. Because we may not need them. Most days we don't. Has there been something hiding in the commissary trash can this whole time? One of these trash cans hiding a super secret note. One of these days, presumably we'll be able to play Dirigiblocks. They didn't add Dirigiblocks just all of a sudden, did they? I don't think so. Okay, so no other items. So we head back because there's nowhere else to go. We must head back to the foundation, but now we have a shovel, so we can dig up our dig sites. Good, good, good. Oh, and we can... Oh, we did not add another room yet to the dormitory, so we don't get additional steps yet because we didn't draft another classroom. We need to get another, or drafting room, right? We had this mistake before. Drafting rooms are different from drawing rooms because the drawing room is actually a floor plan. There's our 50 coins for... I guess we already had enough coins at 49 for an ornate compass because we have a coupon book. Oh, there's actually 4 dig sites here. Is that because we had a lucky rabbit's foot? All right. Let's go to the right. Dang it. Why are these classrooms not pointing in the right direction? Do we settle for the library here? Or do I take a guy's bedroom? Give myself a couple more re-rolls. I think I should probably take the library in this case. Because now, if I do get... This gets us additional steps in the dormitory for what it's worth. If that's worth going back for. Because now the dormitory is... That was the one thing about taking that commissary, is it kind of cuts off our dormitory. I forgot about that part. Hopefully steps aren't going to be too big of a deal. I think we take the library here. I don't want to point the classroom in that direction. I want 2 doors leading to the rest of the house, in addition to the door we've got from the master bedroom. It certainly wouldn't be a bad time now at this spot to have an inkwell. I'm realizing that whether I take the library or not, I might just want to re-roll here if I had the inkwell to do that. I do have a die that I could use if I wanted. But... And I could just take a guy's bedroom as well to get myself more dice. Maybe that's the right pick. We're starting to wind down the number of doors available to us if we do that, though. I think I just settle for the library. And then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's still technically profitable for us to go back to the dormitory because we end up with a net +2 steps. And otherwise, there's no reason for us to go back to the dormitory, so we might as well. So let's take the library, and let's go get our couple extra steps from the dormitory. Just that little extra bit of min-maxing. That we're otherwise going to miss out on. And maybe because of that, we go and we draft the other door above the foundation. Because maybe that's going to be a classroom, and that gets us a couple extra steps from the dormitory as well. Probably not going to need all this extra min-maxing, but I think I will take this first. Because if the classroom here goes to the right, I might just settle for that. Because I'm not, like, super in need of drafting out of the library to get some rare room. I really just want to make sure we get classrooms. Don't have to worry about it because the classroom points in the other direction altogether. So here, now that we have a good helping of gems, we can point that classroom the way we want it. And, like we said, go get a couple more steps. Gotta min-max your steps. Gotta do it. Because you never know. You never know when a weight room is going to put a downer on your step count. And you really are hoping or wishing that you had picked up those couple extra steps when you could. Aha, there's a gem here as well. And now we get an extra step out of our apple. Okay. The art room, definitely, we need to do it just a little bit. It would have been helpful to do a little bit of review in art just before the final exam last time, because there were certainly some questions on that exam that I missed. Like, I think the pry question, I think this could substitute for pry. And also there was one of these, I noticed later, I think we talked about this already, but I noticed later that these are word pairings, aren't they? That we've seen before in the house. Crow and crown. Bat and boat. Stage and sage. I didn't think about it. It didn't occur to me when the very first time we were here. But of course these are word pairings. And there was one of those words that, I don't remember what the final exam question was. But if we do get to take the final again today, we'll do a little bit of review with art before we do that. Just to make sure we don't fall prey to those questions. Otherwise, though, I don't think we need to spend the time here like we did in geography. Let's just keep drafting for the moment. Got plenty of keys. And another classroom. Perfect. Just what I want to see. Exactly what I want to see. History. History. We've got our Orinda flag and our Fen flag. And then, I don't know if this is supposed to be the ruby crown. I think this is just a generic crown, but I'm not sure. There might be more detail on this than I realize. History is penned by the victors. Victors in red. I think every classroom has this sideways 8. How is that important? How does it help me solve the gallery puzzle? I think we know the answers for these. Prince Learson. Oris. The fourth king had 2 sons. The War of the Fifth Era lasted 22 years. The realm which did not ally with Fen Ares during the war was Iraja. And the forbidden flag is the black flag. So the ones that Chris got wrong were 5, 3. Oh, wait a second. No. Okay, so maybe I don't have these correct. Maybe I don't have these, because he got 3 wrong. Which flag was forbidden to be flown at full staff after the war? I could have sworn that was black flag. I had these in my notes. I think I figured out which, or at least I had a good idea of which of these were correct and which were not. But let's go and look at these again. What I had... Oh, these were the ones from the test. The ones from the test, but I didn't want to look at those. I wanted to look at I want to look at this guy. The history worksheet. This question 2, I think I've had some uncertainty about, and maybe I still do. Because at first I thought it was C, but then I crossed that out, and I put Oris. But that's, according to the teacher's grading, that's not the case. Let's look at the other worksheets. Get our apple as well. But the other worksheets here, 4 of 6. General Teskin, I think, is wrong. And 60 and 6 should be wrong. So that means it's actually Reddington. Huh. So I did not get this. Maybe, I don't know if this screwed up one of my exam questions, but this is actually C. Reddington. Do we know that from the book about Reddington? The Sightseer's Guide? Reddington is synonymous with mountains, mystery, and magic. Did I see this later when I was looking over this book in particular? Does it say that Reddington was a... It is still believed by many that Featherfall was built by the first king of Arinda Ares when Reddington was still capital. But it doesn't mention anything about Reddington being the name of a ruler, does it? Am I completely skimming by that little detail? You'd think that would be like one of the first things that it says at the start of the book. Does it say it over in the history of Arindia? Is that mentioned anywhere, Reddington? Here's this Castle Arindia picture, and every time I see this, I feel like this is what we saw underground. That kind of feels like maybe what the big discovery that we're getting at eventually, and maybe that's what the special room, getting the antechamber or some other room in the outer room using Blessing of the Monk. I might be getting ahead of myself. Obviously, don't tell me, but I'm getting excited about some possibilities. But Reddington, is that mentioned in here? I don't see it. And I don't know if I'm not seeing it anywhere. So this is definitely one that I think we're just going to have to take for granted. The idea that, I mean, clearly, this is 4 out of 6, and I don't think any of the other questions... The fourth king had 2 sons, and 1 daughter, and 1 gem. 4 out of 6. Desolates is wrong, and we're saying Oris is wrong now, aren't we? Oh, but wait a second. No. So now he says the entire era. That's got to be wrong. So maybe am I making the mistake of thinking that Prince Learson was the first crowned ruler? Have I just made a massive misread of history? Was it not Prince Learson? Let me think about this, because maybe it's General Teskin. And Oris is actually correct. Because Arch Ares down here would be incorrect. Maybe this is the mistake I've been making. Let's see if we can figure this out. General Teskin. Bring on my notes again here. General Teskin is not found in this doc, but I think if I look outside the house, we know that Teskin was mentioned in the Morajai box out in the Sanctum. At the end of the War of the Fifth Era, after the Grand Realm was established, Morajai boxes of the realm were graced with red tiles in honor of General Teskin's victory. That doesn't say whether he was the ruler or not. What about over here? No mention of Teskin here. Now, there was also... Wasn't there also Wasn't there also, like... So, Tiskin, I think, is also a spelling that's been used. There's a bit of a Teskin, Tiskin. Because where else did we see Tiskin? Oh, it was on the Safe House Royal Museum. So somewhere here, one of these buildings or statues... Oh, here, it's Tiskin Park. Maybe that's the thing I've been getting wrong, and maybe it's not told to us by any of these books. Is Teskin anywhere here? Tisk? No. So, unless it's on the page in the screenshot and I just didn't add it to my notes. But if we think about There's King Desolates. The Kingdom of Arinda Ares entered the 4th era, King Desolates the 3rd. But then when we get to Fen, after the passing of King Desolates the 3rd, the era came to an end. On the very next day, the self-proclaimed Prince Learson of Fen declared himself the true monarch. And that's why I got the idea that Prince Learson was the first. Are we saying that he's not because he was self-proclaimed and it like didn't count? And when push came to shove, oh, it's because Prince Learson was killed, wasn't he? Even with the tide turning in their favor, victory did not come easy. Prince Learson himself added another number to the casualties. However, even in death, he had won. Bro, I'm such a dingus. I completely forgot that Prince Learson died as part of the battle. And so until that war was resolved, there was no Fen Ares, correct? Fen Ares was not established until the end of the war. Lasted 22 years, and Prince Learson, he might have proclaimed himself the leader, but they hadn't decided whether it was going to be Arinda Ares or Fen Ares yet. Prince Learson passes away during the war, and then when the battle is finally finished, or the war is finally finished, Teskin takes over, and he ends up being king. King Teskin, instead of general. That's got to be the answer here that I've been overlooking. So let me actually update my notes, because I had it wrong. I think I had it wrong this whole time. This is not Learson. This is a dingus move, is what this is. What's the right? There we go. This is B. And we had it correct before, that Oris is the city that's named after a historical figure. So this was correct. And now these should be the correct answers here. Okay, this is good. We have to do this if we're going to get a final exam again today, and we're going to actually pass it, or not just pass it, ace it. We passed last time, but we got to do better, which means we got to get these details. Okay, cool. Cool. So I think that is all the review we're going to do here. Let's just make sure that now this makes sense. Desolates is wrong, and the entire era is wrong, so that worksheet makes sense. Teskin is correct, Reddington is wrong, and Arch Ares is wrong. I think now these line up. This is good. We're doing a sanity check on these, because I got these wrong. Learson is now wrong. 12 years is wrong, and Arch Ares is wrong. That's why you only got 3 out of 6. Good. Okay, I think we're good to go. So now these slides here take on a new interpretation. At least one of them does. The one here, which is not Prince Learson, is it? This is Desolates. No, sorry, not Desolates. Teskin. This has got to be King Teskin. Oh, I forgot how good this music is. And then the destruction of the railroads. And the blimp from Nuance. Any other details in this one that are... They don't let us zoom in on this with the magnifying glass, but we can walk closer. The statue of Arinda over here, which they left in place. I wonder if they destroyed that. Okay, successful grade 6 review. You got to learn the actual victors, and which ones of them were actually alive when the war finished. You gotta do it. That's another classroom. Cool. This is panning out just how I hoped. We're adding more and more redraws. At this point, now we're far enough away from the dormitory where it doesn't make sense just to go back there to get steps, because you're going to end up net negative. So we take the classroom and we move on. Grade 7. Aha, right, grade 7. I think we might have talked about this briefly. I don't remember, because some of this we talked about in my special notes review video. But I did have, eventually, I had a realization during editing about the tennis balls, the sine wave tennis balls. And I've realized that it was, in fact, rounding. I just didn't... When I first looked at these, I think I briefly had the idea that rounding might be involved, but I was still, like, it wasn't readily apparent how that was working or how that was supposed to work, and I kind of discarded it. I just threw out rounding and I didn't come back to it until much later, when I realized that it is rounding that we're dealing with. It's just a matter of what decimal place are you rounding to? The ones place? The tens place? The hundreds place? That's where the number of sine waves comes into play. So here, 21.7, one set of sine waves. They want us to round to the nearest ones place. And now this worksheet is not correct. I think the correct answer here are for these problems, this is the correct answer, because 21.7 rounded to the nearest one gets you to 22. However, if you give me two sine waves, now you're telling me to round to the nearest tens place. And that's why you go from 21.7 to 20. When I first saw that, I had it in my mind. I started overcomplicating some rule about you need to, like, if it's one sine wave, you need to round up by 1. But if it's two sine waves, you need to round down by 2. The fact that you had like 21.7 being rounded down to 20, it didn't occur to me the simple explanation of round to the nearest tens. So then when you get 3 sine waves, you're rounding to the nearest hundreds place. So 59.6 goes all the way up to 100. But then you have a minus 59.6 rounded to the nearest ones place, rounded up to 60. 100 minus 60 gets you 40. Now we should know how to do all of these algebras operations, inverting the numbers, and then we know about squaring, and we know about, what was the note that was left on... Right, don't square till you're there. Oh, I forgot Sandra wrote no idea. Yeah, that's how I felt about the tennis balls last time. I had no freaking clue. No idea. I think we'll be ready to go, though. And I love that these classrooms are giving us gems back. I think we'll be ready to go when we get to the final exam algebra portion. So I don't think we need to spend much more time on that. I feel pretty solid about those. Let's use a key. Okay, no classroom yet. So we're not going to take a music room here. I think we just keep trying to get classrooms. We got keys, and why don't we go ahead and make the final exam our main objective for today? Let's see if we can actually get the final exam redemption. So let's re-roll here, but we do hope that the classroom points in the right direction. But we got 9 redraws. We should be able to make that happen. There's our new cloister. We did end up taking the Cloister of Daoja. Gain 2 stars for each room with an animal that you draft from this cloister. So, I am very cautious when it comes to approaching the comments. I try to read things very slowly and only digest bits and pieces of information before I read the entire comment. And that's my way of kind of keeping myself spoiler-free as much as possible. There was one relatively minor spoiler that slipped in. It's not really a spoiler for most people, but for me it kind of is. Apparently, there is going to be an addition. I don't know if it's already been added or not, but at some point there's going to be a patch that is going to add a cat to the kitchen. That was something that I happened to read in the comments. I kind of wish I hadn't. That is something for future reference. Don't tell me about those things. Stuff that gets added in a future patch, at least leave a spoiler tag, because I like those surprises. Not knowing, because now when I draft a kitchen, I'll know, oh, there's going to be a cat when I get there. If I don't know that, and then I draft a kitchen and I walk in and all of a sudden there's a cat, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? There's a cat in here. And now that little small but important and wonderful moment of surprise discovery is now lost. No big deal, but just keep that in mind going forward for future comments. But regardless, it does mean that if we draft a kitchen out of the Cloister of Daoja, at some point, I don't know if we can do it yet, but that would net us 2 stars as well. I don't think I'm going to settle for that, though. I don't think I do like the stars, the sparkly stars that are added to the border here for the Cloister. But I think I would rather do another redraw because I really don't want any of these here. I want classroom. I want a classroom that goes in the right direction. Oh, God. They gave me a gallery instead. Do I want to spend time thinking about the gallery today? Not really. I want all of my limited brain power devoted to final exam material. So we're redrawing again. I'm not taking a starfish aquarium here. We're redrawing. A treasure trove, but it doesn't point in the right direction. We still have the door out of the library, but like I do want to get a treasure trove today and keep progressing that. But my main objective is classrooms. I'm unsure what I'm going to do if I get a classroom that points downward. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Break room, it's not bad. Observatory, it's not terrible, because it would get us an inkwell. But it's not a classroom. We'd only have 2 classrooms left in the pool, so it's not surprising here that we're not getting them as quickly as we were previously. Having to spend some redraws here, but I think we do it. Okay, now that is an attic. An attic is difficult to pass. It is difficult to pass. Do I dare pass it? It's unfortunate that my inventory is a little bit... This is a key card here, I think. The reflection or shiny white window of a door here is blocking out just a part of my inventory, but I'm pretty sure this is a key card. We're not making contraptions today. We already have a lucky rabbit's foot. So do you really need an attic when your lucky rabbit's foot gets you gems in every classroom and items in every other conceivable room? I don't really want to settle for an attic. It's just, you know, I'm going to be sad when I've gone through 4 redraws here and I don't get a classroom. I'm going to do it, though. This is what these redraws are for. This is what they are for. This is what they're for. Gosh dang it. Well, I definitely don't want any of these. If I'm not taking an attic, I'm not going to settle for any of these guys. 3 more redraws. I don't really want to spend my die because that might be needed down here to keep our draft going. Do I settle for a vestibule? We have a hall pass, which means this would be free, wouldn't it? Or no, it wouldn't be free because we have to draft from a hallway. We would get to save steps if we connect another hallway to this. But it's not really what I want. It's just not. And I don't really want an armory either, especially if it doesn't keep my draft going. I might end up settling for a room that keeps the draft going. I should be able to get at least 1 room within the next 2 redraws, even if it's not a classroom. 1 room that I could take the vestibule, but I don't know. I don't know if I should do this or not. when you're down to 2 redraws, you have to start putting a little more thought into, do I settle? And I think the answer is I don't want to settle. If we end up dead ending the draft right here, we've still got 2 more doors. We're not out of options if all of these redraws fail to net us a classroom. Let's keep going. A foyer is very interesting. When you have a hall pass, a foyer definitely gets a lot more interesting. It certainly becomes a more tantalizing option, because now keys become much less of a concern. You've got to drop that initial 2 gem investment. I wonder if the hall pass buffs the chance that you get offered hallways from hallways. There might be some behind the scenes offering rate stuff that goes on with that. I don't think we need a dining room. The kennel could be a cool effect as well, I guess. So similar to a foyer. But we also have the 1 redraw. 1 more redraw to try to get that classroom. And it's just that the foyer is an interesting, that combo of hall pass. We've only used the 1 hallway so far, so there's still a lot of hallways left that we could get value out of. Passageway, vestibule, great hall. Let's go ahead and let's take the foyer here, and we're hoping eventually to get 2 more classrooms. I think this is a fine. I like the synergy that we could, the synergy potential here with picking up the hall pass. Let's do it, and we can afford it. The gems are there. Nothing that we missed in, nothing that we left on the tables in grade 7. So let's keep going. No item here at all? Really? With my lucky rabbit's foot and my day 38 buff? Really? Crazy. Insane. Are there any secret switches on these? There's no secret switches on any of these busts, are there? Tweak Mr. Sinclair's mustache here, and all of a sudden the secret wall recess opens. Oh, game had some frames hiccup there for a second. I thought I did something. I thought I found the secret in the foyer on the Baron's buttons. Okay, no foyer secret. Let's keep going, because now this door's not locked. There's our classroom. It only took 1 room. I'm not going to redraw to try to get a hallway. Obviously, we take the classroom here. Easiest classroom of my life. It even points the right way. We can still draft out of the library eventually. Life is good. Now, grade 8 is probably one we want to take some time to review. We've got our vocabulary notes. These we can just refer to open notes during the exam. Still a good idea to kind of just mentally note them. But I think we should also, let's see if there's any items first, but then let's take the time to go through. Or we can draft first maybe, and then take the time to go through. Well, maybe let's do that. Let's see what we get offered here. Hopefully, we can get our hands on our last classroom. And I don't think I would not take any of these anyways. So let's use one of our 10 redraws. Could take a break room here to make sure, or we could take security to make sure we get to both sides of the house. But we've got 9 redraws left. This is where you try to make sure you get the final exam, right? This is what the redraws are here for. Use them. This is what they're here for. Don't be afraid to use them. Especially when you're not even halfway through them. Don't be afraid. A trophy room, huh? Trophy room's nice. Den would be nice as well. But we've got 6 more redraws. Keep going! Dang it, I thought that music room was a classroom. Don't settle. Not yet. 5 more redraws. Come on, game. Don't do this to me. Courtyard would not be bad. Probably has security doors. But it's just, I don't want to settle for a courtyard. I don't want to do it. Redraw. Dovecote, huh? A dovecote would let us rotate and angle over into this side of the house. But does that really... There's also a showroom. The showroom we could pick up, and we would be temporarily at least blocked off from the rest of the house. But it's not important to draft 45 rooms. I always like to do it. It feels nice to fill in all the rooms, but that's not the important part here. The important part is to get a classroom. Make sure you get that classroom. We have 54 coins, so a showroom is good. And it's the first time that it's showed up. So we may not see it again. But also we have 3 more redraws to go for a stinking classroom. And we still have the library. We still have the spare master bedroom. We are supposed to use these redraws. That's what we're supposed to do. Use them. I don't want a freezer right now. I don't want the freezer right now. Not yet. Too soon. Too soon. We kind of need, what I'm realizing, if we want to add the last stamp to our stamp collection, it's possible that the Kararka stamp is somewhere else in the house besides the freezer, but the only place I've seen it so far is the freezer. In order to add it to our stamp collection, we need the magnifying glass. But we also need to melt the ice in the icebox to get to the letter. We've done that before with a burning glass, but if we have a burning glass, that means we've consumed our magnifying glass. So what I've realized, I think, is we need the torch out of the armory on the same day that we have the freezer and a magnifying glass so that we don't consume our magnifying glass making a burning glass. Do I have that right? Or somehow we have to get lucky carrying over a burning glass with the moon pendant or some shenanigans like that. In any case, I don't want to settle for any of these. I don't want to settle for an office. I want to redraw. That's what I want to do. Shit. Do we settle for a pool now? Because that gets us to both sides of the house, and we get the trunks as well. Probably settle for the pool. Once you get down to that last redraw, the pool is a good option here. Or it's good enough. So let's keep the draft going. On or in multiple directions. Let's do it. And we even get a banana. Cool. Just remember, wait 30 minutes before... What's the rule? 30 minutes or 45 minutes after eating before you're supposed to swim? I don't remember what the rule is. Okay, reasonable trunks. Would have liked to see one set of dice there at least, but this is fine. Let's draft. Do we spend all of our keys here? Do we end up spending all of our keys because we can always go back to the spare master bedroom? Or do we save 1 key to go to the library? We'll see what happens when we get down to our last set of keys, or our last actual key. There's still 2 keys in the commissary. I just remembered that. 2 keys in commissary. Do we take the observatory now and we get our inkwell online? That seems okay to me. Yeah. Get our inkwell online, and now we have redraws to get that last classroom. Because that's really all we're looking for at this point. I'm okay with that. And I'd be okay with spending a few of these stars. Knocks us back down into the 40-star territory, potentially, and away from the inkwell on a subsequent day. But you need to use those stars at some point if you're gonna utilize the inkwell. I thought that was an item there for a second. Has this planet always been white like this? Has that always been a pale planet? Probably. I'm just now noticing it, though. What details have I missed? The 5 planets have always been here on the desk. I think I've sort of subconsciously noted that previously, but we can't interact with them in any way, so it's probably not important. Let's get our inkwell. It's in a different spot. It's down over here this time. It moved. It moves around in the night sky. Inkwell online. And we may very soon be using that, depending on what we get. Depending on what we are offered. Courtyard? I think so. Rather than spending a redraw here, we just take the door that keeps our draft moving along. Theoretically. And it could connect us to the antechamber if somehow that becomes important. That's a metal detector. Yay, security door. That's what I was hoping for. Not gonna wait to make a detector shovel. Just dig. Extra steps. Good, good, good. Antechamber is not open. Let's keep drafting. Okay. Now we could see what the 51-star reward is. Would it give us the inkwell again? Plus... what's the 1-star reward? A coin? Or we could do a laboratory experiment. It's a little bit late to get that started. I think I'd rather get another star. Because I kind of just want to see what the 51-star reward is. I'd rather it give me a whole bunch of different constellations. So I think this is important information for us to note. So let's take that instead of starting a somewhat late in the day experiment. Although this would get us access to the remote security terminal. It would let us get more keycard doors, as well as doing a special order. Would we still do a special order for magnifying glass? I'm gonna take the observatory, though. That abrupt music change. Requeuing that observatory track. It does do the inkwell, huh? So 51 and 1. The North Star gets you just that single coin, and our second inkwell. So that's a little bit disappointing, but that's good to know that maybe you could, as long as you end up in the 50-star and above range, maybe not and above, but within 50 stars, plus 1, 2, 3, because there are constellations that we can look at the book. The constellations go up to the Southern Cross is 5. It's not until day 6 where you might have, but see, you could have the inkwell combine a whole bunch of stuff. You could have the inkwell plus North Star plus Southern Cross, or Diamondus Minor plus the twins. So the inkwell may just be available like throughout the 50s. Could be. Do I use a coin here? Or coin. Do I use a key here? We still have the 2 keys in the commissary. Yes. There's a showroom. I think we take that. Because that either gets us a ornate compass or it gets us an emerald bracelet. The emerald bracelet is not as enticing when we have 8 gems, but I think I take the showroom here over a planetarium. Now the planetarium would get us a die. So that's a consideration. Except we have the inkwell. Who needs dice when you have an inkwell? But the planetarium would be cool for us to call it a day later and get some extra stars. if we're going to be getting the inkwell pretty often, then the planetarium becomes more valuable, I think. So this is somewhat close, I think, but man, an ornate compass is just so dang good. I don't want to pass the showroom again. I'm going to take it. Ornate compass, please. We did have the ornate compass. For a second, I thought it wasn't in its usual spot right here. That's a master key. But we still have the 2 keys in the commissary. And we might be able to get our hands on a locksmith as well. And we have a lockpick kit. So, and we have unlocked hallway doors for what it's worth. I think we're just taking an ornate compass here, and we're hoping to come back later for a chronograph or a moon pendant. We just take our compass, right? 49 coins. Save that 1 coin that we just picked up from the observatory. Because of our wonderful coupon book. No items here, right? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm loving this draft. I'd love it if we get our hands on a classroom. But let's go to, I think, the library. Let's draft from there. We have an ornate compass now to angle our... Oh, we can also draft here from the pool. I forgot about that. Maybe we go from here first. It's just that we're running into more locked doors if we draft from the pool. I think I'd rather go to the library first. We have the steps. We can afford the extra aces here. So let's start from the library while we have as many keys as we do. And the gems. We'll make sure to reorder a new clue again. We just had it, but I skipped taking a look at it because I didn't know that I needed to. If only I had known. Not a chamber of mirrors, but that's our last classroom. Boom. Just what I was hoping for. Is the classroom, does it receive an extra chance? An extra chance. Does it have a higher offering rate from the library, I wonder? In any case, that is a final exam that we are ready to... We know now what the deal is with the final exam. Do not pick up until you are ready. So, we should go back and do our review. It's a few more steps to go back, but I mean, we could save those steps by simply checking our notes, right? I don't think we have to go back to the Erasion classroom. So here's what I'll do. I am due for a break, so I'll take my break, and then we'll do a little bit of review of the Erasion vocabulary, make sure we're good on those worksheets. We'll look over our previous exam one more time, and then I guess we'll hit the ground running and see if we can ace it this time around. Okay, break time's over. Let's do some review, and we'll go through the Erasion vocabulary worksheets here once again. And also, I'm assuming that the questions on the final exam are not going to be the exact same as they were before. I would imagine that there's some pool of questions that is going to be drawn from, just like we have a draft pool. So we'll go through the previous answers on the exam that we took the last time, but we're going to hopefully be ready for new curveballs that get thrown at us. But the Erasion worksheet here, before we peek, I think I have the final answers, the correct answers listed in my notes here, but before we peek at those again, let's see if we can go through and figure out the correct phrasing here. Hello, can you teach me a new word? So I think this is correct because Adgelor is hello. It's like first word, just like Lord Ja is goodbye, last word. So Adgelor is hello. Will teach. I think that in this case, there are some English words that get used in Erasion, and I think teach is one of them, even though the teacher says you should remember the Erasion terms for these. I think that's a reference to branch and trunk. I think those are the ones that are incorrect, I think, the ones at the bottom. Adlor, Ulteach, and Nevlor should be correct. The large house is toward the east. Hugh, Am. Ma is small, Am is large. Ove is toward, and Vo is away from. Ovet, toward the east. That's correct. El swim, I will swim. At dawn, Nevdow, new day. So that's correct as well. And then we have, haven't learned how to pronounce this yet, but Riedel. Riedel nigh. I won't read. L at the beginning is I will. Lay at the end is I won't. Read lay, Riedel. And this is where these two at the end are not quite correct. They're more, I guess Maurice had it acceptable here by putting ven, treven, because ven is like the end of, just like we saw earlier, mora ven. Old or the end of. It can be used either for either of those. So the branches of the tree are the end of the tree, but those branches themselves are also old. I think the truly correct way to put them in the right order is to say tre, ven, because they're supposed to be suffixes, right? Ven is supposed to be old, and that's a suffix. Nev is new, or the start of, and that's a prefix. So the proper way is tre, ven. But apparently it's acceptable to put ven, tre, ven. Because why is that acceptable? Because you are talking about the end of the tree is old. Which ven is talking about the branches, and which ven is talking about those branches being old? I'm not sure. The trunk of the tree is small. Ma is small. Nev being the start of the tree, or the trunk of the tree. Ma, nev, tre. I think the one that Maurice got wrong was the first one, because he didn't put in teach, the ul teach portion. So the one that he gets wrong is 1, which means 6 is correct. Ma, nev, tre. And that's what Phoebe puts as well. Phoebe ends up getting lay read wrong, because that should be at the end. Should be a suffix. She also gets ejdow wrong. That's not it's not ajdow, it's nevdow. Aj is first, right? Not new. And let's just check to make sure that's correct. Ajlor, Ulteach, Nevlor. QM Ovit, Elswim Nevdow, Riedel Nigh, Tre Ven, and Manev Tre. So I feel pretty good about those worksheets, and then we have these that we can reference during the final. So let's go through each of the final exam questions from before, just skim through these, and remember what we got wrong in particular. What we got wrong in the color section was question 4. The least patriotic room pairing should have been a greenhouse in Carrarica, because Carrarica is orange. I don't think we need to review elementary math. I feel pretty solid about these. Should be no problem on these. As long as we're paying attention. There, I think, might have been one in the algebra section that I got wrong because I didn't quite pay attention to the order of operations. So just make sure you stay very detail-oriented. I don't think we got anything wrong in science. Science was 100%. So the element on the periodic table that's represented by C is carbon. The element that appears directly below helium, we have that in our... We can go to 2nd grade to check that out. No, 3rd grade. Except I don't have my... We should take a screenshot of the periodic table, except I have it in the laboratory. That's right. It was part of the laboratory. I was thinking we might have to go back and take a screenshot there, but we do have it, I think, in the laboratory. So there's our... We'll keep Arajan here, and we'll have the periodic table here. And so the element directly below helium is neon. That's not where I want to go. I want to go back here. Neon. Ne. Which of the following is not a real element found in the periodic table? LL. which element. These are all going to be answered essentially by looking at the periodic table, except for stuff like this. I just happen to remember Ag was silver from my high school chemistry, and I know that Au is gold. Those are the two that are kind of curveballs. We'll see if they can figure out another one like those that I don't remember. If there's a question in the pool that is outside of my high school memory banks. Which element could not be used in the spelling of the word clues? Radon is R. How many elements are on the top row of the periodic table? We should all be able to get those during the exam. It should be fine. Geography as well, we got 100%, right? So Sam, I think this first question counted as both a geography and a color question. So red flags in Fen Aries, and also it counts as a geography question because it's testing our knowledge of Tanner Fork and Trinsdale being within Fen Aries. Now then, we had also the town where Sam lives, which I wasn't sure about, and I guess I took a stab at it, that it had to be Oris. Except we know this from the Sightseer's Guide, don't we? The question was, where does Sam live? If he's going by Tanner Fork and Trinsdale, then, like, he's in Reddington, right? And that's in Oris. Except I'm not sure if we see that from the Sightseer's Guide. We might actually see this from the classroom. The fourth grade classroom. Because there is this chart here, which turned out to be important. So we see Reddington, and Mount Holly is near Reddington, and that's part of the greater region known as Oris. To the south is Araja, to the north is Arch Aries. To the west is Fen. Fen is kind of a different region from Oris. Even though they're supposed to be part of Fen Aries in general, but I guess there may be different territories within Fen Aries. And that's what this map points out. So hopefully we'll be ready for that question, if and when it comes back. The city of Fen is south of which small body of water? Same, referencing that map in fourth grade. Morning Bay. How many cities in Fen Aries are larger than Reddington? 2. The reason we know that is because the Sightseer's Guide does tell us that Reddington is the third largest city in Fen Aries. Then we have, which of the following realms is not near Fen Aries? Kararika, we know, is on the other side of the globe. Which sigil core denotes the realm of Arch Aries? The mountain. Which realm is directly north of Araja? Fen Aries. Where are you right now as you take this exam? Mount Holly, Reddington, Fen Aries. So those questions were all correct. Then, when it came to art, we had some screw-ups. Just one. There were 4 altogether, 4 questions. And I think the one we got wrong was 25. Which of the following pieces of art was not displayed in the grade 5 classroom? I guessed pry, but I think that crowbar could be used as a substitute for pry. So the one that was not there was actually jungle, if you go back and look through those screenshots, which we have now in 5th grade. I think I've added these now to my... I had not added them as of yet when we had gotten through... When we got to the final exam the first time. So those are ready to go. And the following pieces of art not displayed in the Mount Holly's entrance hall, realize. Face, Ace, and Trinsdale are all there. Which 2 pieces of art would best be paired to depict the letter B? Bale and Ale. And then Arindia versus Arinda. The I is the difference. So the rest of those were correct. History, we kind of flunked. We got 3 out of 6 in history. This one, even going back through my review, I wasn't sure about, but I guess now I am, because I actually, in my notes review, got this wrong, didn't I? Because I was under the impression that Prince Learson was the first crown ruler. It was General Teskin. Now, we've done our review from our history lessons, and I think now we can say that this was actually not correct. That was not true. And that's what was confusing me on the rest of these. So now maybe I can get the rest of these right. So 28 is actually wrong. Actually, 28 should be B. General Teskin. So that means if I got that one wrong, what else did I get wrong? 30, 31, and 33? Is that correct? The deciding battle of the War of the Fifth Era was fought on the southern shores near what famous landmark? I think what I determined in my notes review is that similar to the other, going back to this geography map, this Colossus Arinda down here, I think is actually what they were trying to get me to notice. It's near the southern shore. It's certainly the farthest south of any of these other landmarks. So that's not the Royal Museum of Fen. I got mixed up because I thought Southern Shores was a reference to the southern end of the Morning Bay. But that's not a southern shore. When you talk about the shores, you're talking about where are they in reference in relation to the land. So the landmass, the southern part of the landmass is where the southern shores are, down here. That's Colossus Arinda. So I think that's the answer there that should have been. That would have been correct. Nuance should be correct. I'm sticking to my guns on them being the aviation/dirigible. That's the most likely suspect, right? Don't overthink it. The stamp has a dirigible on it. The first capital city of Fen Ares. Did I say that this one was... See, now maybe I did get this correct because I think let's see. If we say that 33 was wrong and 28 was wrong, what was the other one that was wrong? The other one that I would have gotten wrong would either have been 29 or 31. In which era were the railways of Fen Ares destroyed? Wouldn't it have to be the 6th era? I think that's what I came up with, because even though I couldn't find a specific reference in the history of Arindia to when the railways were destroyed, I think because of the slides that we just looked at in the history room, the destruction here happens at the end of the war, right? King Teskin gets crowned, and the war that's in the 5th era comes to its end. And it's in the 6th era that they end up destroying those railroads. That has to be that must be it. 29 and 28 were both wrong. So that means I think I got 31 right. This should be 31 here. I was thinking I got it wrong because I had the wrong answer for 28. But 31 is actually the city of Fen, which makes sense. 5th era lasts 22 years. Okay, I think we're in a much better position on our history questions. Hopefully, we'll do better this time around. Algebra, we should do a lot better this time around because we know how the sine wave tennis balls work. Those should be good. I think the one that I got wrong here was I got 38 I got wrong, not because of the tennis balls. Funny enough, I actually guessed 37 right. Just pure luck. But I got 38 wrong because I screwed up some of the order. I had put 41 when really it should have been 14. I think I forgot to do the inversion at the very end. So that one ended up being wrong. 39 I got wrong as well because I didn't know the tennis balls. Okay. I feel good about the algebra questions. Squaring, inversion, rounding. And then we've done our review. Let's go through the questions here again. The results for my erosion were also bad. 50%. What did we miss? In my notes, I said that I guess I wasn't sure what I missed in these. Because I say, I feel like the rest should be correct, so I don't know what I'm missing. I think I was a little bit unsure. This first one is correct. This has to be correct. The Erosion word for house is hue. What does nevyate mean in erosion? I think by process of elimination, it has to mean new gate, doesn't it? Because we know that the future actually has its own word. There's actually a word specifically for future, isn't there? And that's awry. So it's not future, and it's not come towards me. It's new gate because Nev is new, and even though they don't specifically tell us what gate is, no, they do. Never mind. So it's clearly 40 and 41 are correct. So if we did I have 6 questions here altogether? I guess I'm counting this one as the 6th question. The one that tested our north, south, east, west. I think I had a lot of indecision about 45. It's coming back to me that I was really unsure whether I got this one right after all. Can we figure this out? So there have to be 3 out of these remaining 4 that are wrong. Can we figure out which one I got right? The phrase tre ven le can be translated in several different ways. Which of the following is not an acceptable interpretation of this phrase? We just learned from our notes review that tre ven is the branches of the tree, right? Tre ven, the branches of the tree are old. That would be tre ven ven. But if you just say tre ven, I guess you could be talking about 2 different things. You could be talking about the branches of the tree, or you could be talking about an old tree. The tree is old. So with that in mind, if you say tre ven le, that's I won't, right? So you could say my tree is not very old. You could also say that that old tree is not owned by me. Or you could say I am not an old tree. I think you can't say I cannot see the tree trunk, because if we're talking about the tree trunk, that's where we have to say nev tre. We can't say tre ven. That's either the branches or it's an old tree. If you're talking about the tree trunk, you have to say nev tre. I think 42 is correct. But I had questions about this because I felt pretty good about which ones. I think I also felt good about count me out, el count vo. Because it didn't make sense to me that any of these others could mean count me out. Leave Lou? Lay? How would it not be el count vo? And that's where I started getting confused because, oh no, I don't have, if it's 50%, 3 out of 6 are wrong. Then I think I got this one wrong. You have a very, very long name. That should have been, how would you say the following phrase in Arajan? You have a very, very long name. Actually, how did I get this one wrong? Because name is Jor, isn't it? I'm having this is like deja vu all over again with my notes review, because this was the problem I was running into. It felt like I got these questions right the last time around. Where's the lore is word? Oh, Jor, I actually know from a new clue, don't I? A new clue is what tells me about Jor. That's where I'm picking up. It's from the chalkboard here. Jor equals name. That seems pretty... I feel pretty certain, based on the fact that lore equals word. We know that that's the same as what it shows us in the Rajan vocabulary. So Jor must equal name, correct? So how is that question wrong? Or that answer wrong? If it's the only, like, I sort of jumped to the only one that said Jor in it. These other ones don't make sense, do they? You have a very, very long name. Lore is word. Ra. Is Ra very, very? Dao Ven Ja. And I think it was about this point in my notes review where I was sort of like throwing up my hands because I felt like I got them all right. I could see the argument that I got this one wrong, right? Because there's supposed to be a tree here. And I did north, east, south. But that might not exactly be the clearest way to give someone directions. It might be better. I was thinking of the simplest way or the shortest way to give them directions, north, east, south. But you know, that might not be clear enough because what if they only walked halfway on this line and then turned south? They wouldn't get to where they need to go. So you really need to tell them to go, let's see. So AJ first north, then east, and then you go toward the tree, and then last go south, away from the tree. Right? That, I think C is actually supposed to be the answer. I think we can pretty confidently say that 45 is C, and that's where I ended up. But it feels like the rest should be correct. So, I have to say that my least confident subject, I think, is Arajan. Especially if they give us exactly the same questions. I don't know how I could put different answers on some of these, even though supposedly I got a bunch of them wrong. Okay, I think that's about as ready as we're going to be, at least on this day. I think we're ready. It's time to take the exam. All the studying has been done. Now's when you gotta, see if the proof is in the pudding. Whatever analogy you want to use here. I took another break as well. I actually took a little bit of a power nap to try to give my brain a little bit of extra freshness going in. If I were doing this for real, if the game allowed us to actually save and quit and come back to the same day, I would do that. I would do that so we could come back first thing in the morning on an actual fresh brain day and take this exam. But this is going to have to suffice because Blueprints doesn't work that way. So we've got our notes. We've got our laboratory periodic table for any new questions that show up there. We've got our vocabulary and our other schoolhouse grades ready to go as we need them. We're not going to need Realm and Rune. So it's just going to be these tabs that we've already been using if necessary. And let's get... I'm nervous. I was going to say, let's get into it, but I'm still nervous. I know now what happens when we click on this. Let's get a little bit of extra virtual brain energy here by eating our snack right beforehand. Get those carbs in the system, and hopefully that'll get us over the finish line. Final exam, take 2. Ominous music begins. Okay. Immediately, it looks like it's the same questions. Yo. Okay. I think it's the same questions. So if there's no... That's crazy. I thought these were going to be randomized. I can't help but look ahead. But, okay, let's just go one question at a time. We know what's the right answer here, right? These are red flags. And in the scenario above, we know that he lives in Oris, correct? Not the Grand City of Fen. We can double check this now. If these are going to be the exact same questions, yo, we know we got these all correct before. So Oris is the answer. Okay. Wow. Well, this is the biggest curveball of all. If this is not a randomized exam, hello. The color associated with hallways is orange. Now we know the least patriotic pairing is the greenhouse in Kararga. The color that's for the fruit with 3 steps is the banana, which is yellow. This might end up being easier than I thought, except it's going to have those same Arajan questions at the end that we don't know the answers to. So hold your horses. Okay, solve the following problems. I think we got these all correct before, but let's go through it again here. 5 minus 5 is 0. Times 2 should also be 0. And that's what we said before, wasn't it? Should be correct. And these were all on the math portion, the elementary math. These were correct before. Solve the following problem. I mean, I can just copy my answers from before. If these are the exact same questions, but I kind of want to think about it at the same time. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, times 2 is 24. And that's what we put here. Wow. Okay. 8 is supposed to be 11. Is that true? 5 minus 2 is 3. Times 5 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Minus 5 is 11. There we go. 9. I'm tempted to just copy my answers from before. Let me think through these, though. 10 times 4 is 40. Divided by 5 is 8. Minus 4 should be 4. That's what it is. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Times 2 is negative 6. Plus 7 is positive 1. We got that correct previously. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Times 8 is negative 8. Divided by 2 is negative 4. Plus 5 is positive, once again, positive 1. There we go. This is crazy. They're giving us the exact same questions. Good thing we reviewed, right? Good thing we reviewed. Holy crap. I should be going back to look at these questions that we got right before, but we just reviewed these. So I know the answers. The elements on. I gotta be careful that they don't sneak in one new question or something. Like a couple different questions. They make you think that they're all the same, and then they just sneak in some sneaky ones. 2 is the answer here, correct? City of Fen is south of which small body of water? Morning Bay. Right? Did we get all of these correct? Geography was all correct as well. So Morning Bay is the answer for that. The cities in Fen Aries larger than Reddington are 2. The following realms which of the following realms is not near Fen Aries? Kararika. It's literally the exact same question so far. The realm for Arch Aries is the mountain. The sigil core, that is. What realm is directly north of Viraja? Fen Aries. And we're here in Mount Holly, Reddington, Fen Aries. Just being extra careful because we're going to have the time to be extra careful on these, at least for the ones that we know we got correct. The 2 pieces of art that would be depicted by the letter B, Bale and Ale. Now we can just double check this to be sure, but jungle, this is the only one that I did not necessarily check 100% just a moment ago, but I did check this at some point previously. There's no jungle on any of these sketches on the wall. And there's no jungle that's on any of the little art prompts for the students. And none of the examples on the easels are a jungle either. Jungle, not displayed. Which of the following pieces of art is not displayed in the entrance hall? Realize. The difference here is an eye. The first crown ruler of Fen Aries. I think we now know it's General Teskin, hopefully. The era in which the railways were destroyed, 6th era, should be the correct answer. 22 years is how long the war lasted. And the first capital city would be the Grand City of Fen. Let's go back and check these. But we did just check these a moment ago. We just checked them. Not even... It's a little bit longer in real time for me because I took that nap. But as far as I'm concerned, we just checked these. Dirigible, nuance. Deciding battle was, I think, at the Colossus Arinda. This is the one that we should have put previously and we got wrong. So Colossus Arinda should be the answer there. Okay, now let's walk through the math problems, the algebra problems. 6 squared should be 36. That one, the only ones that we got wrong previously, I think, were 38 and 39. So 36 was correct. 35 is 3. Actually, it's a -3 squared, isn't it? Which gives you 9. And then you subtract 3 from that. I guess it would be positive 3 squared would give you 9 as well. Subtract 3 from either of those gets you positive 6. And that is what we put the first time around. That should be correct. 12 inverted is just 21. That's what we put the first time. 37, I guessed, but we can do this the right way. We can say 11 divided by 3 is 3 2/3. And then the single sine wave wants you to round up to the nearest integer, the ones place, so it would round up to 4. And that's what we managed to guess the first time. 38, this one I got wrong before, but that's because I just screwed up, I think. 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 5 is 21. And then 21 times 2 is 42. Subtract 1 from that gets you 41, and then you invert at the very end to get 14. And that's what I missed the first time, is that last step to get to 14. Then 39, we had no idea how to do at all. You go 5, not times 2, divided by 2. So that gets you 2.5, 2.5. Times 3 gets you 7.5. And then you want to round to the nearest tens place because you have 2 sine waves, 2 sets of sine waves. So 7.5 rounds up to 10. Then you have 10 minus 1, which is 9, times 6, which is 54, right? No, this is times. Pink is times. Purple is divided. So we get to 54. Plus 100, which is 154. And then we have 3 sine waves, and that's where we want to round up to the nearest hundreds place, which would give us 200. And that is not what I put before, but it should be 200. Okay, good. We're flying here. Why did it not... The mouse is screwing up for some... I'm trying to use my arrow key to go right, but for some reason it wasn't. I'm having to click next page. Now is when we get into the part that I'm just not sure about. I feel good about this last question. I think we got this correct. Let's see if we can lock it in. In ancient Arindia, the number 8 was considered by Aegean scholars to be mathematically near perfect. I think this is the one that equates to 46, right? You do 8 squared, and then you invert it. 64 inverted becomes 46, and that was D, and that's what we put the first time, correct? And that was one of our algebra questions that we did get right. So that's how we ended up with 5 out of 7 correct. 71%. So D is the correct answer here. So now that leaves us with these other ones. I think I'm pretty sure that I got 45 wrong. That I should have said Agin et Ovtre Isja Trevo. First north, then east, toward the tree, last south, away from the tree. That makes sense, right? The rest of these don't. Like Ma is like large, so that doesn't make any sense. Large north, large, let me just make sure that that is large. Ma is actually small, but either way, small or large doesn't make sense in the when you're putting it next to north. So small north, I guess maybe it could make sense if you were going to say go a short ways north. Go a short ways north, then go a long ways east. Now, Ma tre is small tree. Then it says et is. East south, southeast, Ma or. That doesn't make any sense because you're saying to go a little ways west. You're telling them to go back west now to get to point B. I don't think that... The one that makes sense to me, that is actually clear, is the answer C. I think we can lock that in. I could be wrong still, but I think this is the one I got wrong previously. Or it's one of the ones. It's all these others that I'm not sure about. I feel pretty strongly that the Eurasian word for house is hue. We should be able to log that in, right? Let's just double, triple check it here. Hue is house. The Eurasian word for house, hue. Okay, What does nev-yate mean? We literally have a translation for this, don't we? Nev is new or the start of, and yate is gate. So it's new gate. Is there ever a world where it means come towards me? I don't think so. Could it mean that? It's new gate. I don't want to overthink this because it's just new gate. It couldn't mean the future because we have a word for future, awry. It's not going to be old world. Maybe that's what Moraven means, old world. Ah, Moraven, old world. I'm thinking back to the geography charts. But it's not Nev-Yate, that's for sure. And come towards me would be something else. It's new gate, don't overthink it. Those have to be true. But then we start getting into the ones that I'm not sure about because of how we were graded before. I feel like the only one that makes sense for 43 is the Ulra Jor Am. You have a very, very long name. Dao Ven Ja. That is day, and then old, and then Ja is last. It's like day, old, last. That's not even close to this phrase. Nai Dao is night and day. Night and day, that's not close to this. Lor Lu Radao. Lor is word. Lu is I won't. I won't word. Ra Dao. If we assume that Ra is like very, or maybe very, 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 very day, that doesn't make any sense. It has to be you have UL, a very, very long name, because Am is long or large, and Jor is name. It has to be Ulra Joram, doesn't it? Like, I feel like any other answer here is like overthinking or just flat out wrong. That's the only one that I know to go with. So I guess that leaves us with 44 and 42 that maybe I got wrong the first time. But again, with 44, I don't know how else you would say count me out. Is there some way that we can... I think we can rule out LE, right? That's just... LE is just a lack of myself. Oh, a lack of myself. Count me out. Is that what we got wrong? Like, a lack of myself. I'm not supposed to be here. Count me out. I'm not a part of this. Lay. Nope. I'm not. Ah, that's the answer, isn't it? That would make sense. This would be one that we got wrong. And LE does actually make sense. Leave Lu doesn't make sense. Lu is like... It's, you won't. LU is you won't. It's, we're talking about me, I. So Lu, also leave doesn't make, that wouldn't be, at the end there's a question mark. I think we can rule out C, and we can rule out A as well, a Raja Knight. So it really only leaves B and D, which I was ruling out D, thinking there's no way that it could be that, except I think it is. Okay, we're at least trying something different for this. Let's do it. Now we go back to this one about the tree. It's still possible I'm missing something here on this. The phrase tre ven lay can be translated in several different ways. Tre is tree, ven is old or the end of. And the worksheets showed us that it can be used in a couple different contexts, either to refer to the branches or the fact that the tree is old. Now the lay, L-E, that part of it, once again, is a lack of myself. So it's like, I'm not or I won't. Somehow I'm not involved with an old tree or the branches of the tree, right? Or am I getting this wrong? Because the trunk of the tree, when that was talked about, the correct phrase was nev tre, right? The start of the tree. Even though nev means new, it also means the start of. And the trunk, even though the trunk is really the oldest part of the tree, that's not how the worksheets taught us to do erosion. I mean, maybe that's the mistake I'm making here, is interpreting these worksheets correctly, but from what I understand is tre ven is not supposed to be the trunk of the tree. And that's why the following is not an acceptable interpretation of this phrase. Which of them? I get led to C, because it's the one that talks about a tree trunk. That old tree is not owned by me. Tre ven le. Old tree, not mine. That makes sense. I think that's an acceptable interpretation. My tree is not very old. Maybe that's the one. My tree is not very old. That old tree is not owned by me. How would you say my tree is not very old? Because I don't know any other way to negate ven other than using le. Couldn't you also use it? My tree is not very old. I am not an old tree. I feel like all of those are acceptable. Could I ace the exam and still get one question wrong? If we think we've gotten every other question right this time? The thing is, I know my grade from before, and I know that we got 50% on erosion. And if we did in fact get 40 correct and 41 correct, as well as 43 correct, that means that we had to have gotten 42 incorrect. Because now I think I understand that I got 45 and 44 incorrect. So, don't we have to change our answer here? I think we have to change our answer. I don't see a world where 40, 41, or 43 are wrong. I think we've gotten them correct. And so 42 has to be, would have had to have been incorrect last time. So then which one of these, A, B, or D? If we rule out C, because I guess it it feels counterintuitive to say that the tree trunk, that you could say tre ven as the tree trunk, when clearly on the worksheets you said nev tre to talk about the tree trunks. But maybe I misinterpreted the worksheets. Maybe I got them wrong. Let me get a hydrate. This is so nice. Actually, I was so nervous going into this, but the questions are exactly the same. But then that probably means that you have to get every single question correct. I'm starting to lean toward B. My tree is not very old. My tree is not very old. I just don't know exactly, my erosion is not good enough yet, where I feel confident. Do we have an example of, like, my something is not? We know, we have this I won't read at night. So read, L-E. Read lay, or readle. Read lay. Tre ven lay. If I was gonna say my tree is not, I'm starting to think it's B, because it feels like tre ven is, you say old tree, is not mine, or is not me, right? A or D could work. And also maybe C could work if we're gonna live in this world where Ven is actually the start of the tree. But Ven is not the start, is it? It's, no, it is. No, Ven is the end of. Sorry, Ven is the end of, not Nev. Tre Ven, the end of the tree. Is the trunk just a different end of the tree? You have the branches on one end and you have the trunk on the other? This is such a confusing language if that's how that works. But I suppose you could pick out a lot of things in English that seem kind of counterintuitive, and you have to just understand based on the context what a certain word means or how it's supposed to be spelled. My tree is not very old. I think that's the one I'm gonna pick here. I feel the least confident out of any of these other questions, and I kind of hate this question because I feel like it's not, the lessons that we've learned in Erasion are not being tested here. There's some weird, like maybe I should look at the outside the house in the tomb. Maybe I should look there at the note from Lady Epson and see, is there an example here of lay? Like we see Uld Arai lay. Nevdao, new day, maybe tomorrow. Uld Arai lay. You will go into the future without me. Any other LE ending phrases? There's some Lu ending phrases. You are not House Sinclair. You are not House Epson. You are not an old tree. I am not an old tree. That old tree is not owned by me. It is not mine. A and D, I could see, they could be correct. I think we have to go with B because this is the one that I'm not sure about. And also, I think we got it wrong last time. So that combination of information, if we've got every other answer here on the test, I think this is the very last question that we haven't filled out. And once we do, we've got 6 minutes left. And I just want to use that time because I might as well to make sure that I've got this right. But I think I'm as sure as I'm going to be. I think any more that I think about this, I'm just going to talk myself into an even worse position. But it's crazy that they just completely repeated the exact same exam. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to lock it in. I don't feel great about it, but we're going to see if 42B, question 42 of all things, the answer to everything is my tree is not very old. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll quickly screenshot all of these just to have them for next time. And obviously, I would love it if acing the exam involved getting one question wrong still. I don't know exactly how. Are we going to need an actual 100%? It kind of probably is going to make us get 100% if they're giving us the same test every time. That's not an unreasonable requirement for your students, I think. Okay, there it is. We've taken our final exam for a second time, and we can only wait now to see what our results are. Maybe some astute members of the audience will already know whether or not I have passed, not just passed, aced the exam, but don't tell me just yet. We'll wait for day 39 to find out. For now, we can keep drafting, and I think I will continue here from the classroom because we might as well have our rerolls here and see if our lockpick kit works. There we go. Okay. We have 7 gems left, and I could just take a den. I think I will take a den probably. 7 gems, 8 gems is even better. I think I do that. Even though we're done drafting classrooms, but gems are still good. I don't need a secret passage question mark, but if I take a secret passage, I could draft a hallway afterward, and I could start stringing together some hallways maybe. start taking advantage of this hall pass, as well as the foyer. That is the advantage here. The foyer is online in addition to the hall pass. So the secret passage would not be a bad idea, and just chain it into another hallway. We have 2 east wing halls. That would almost certainly, one of those would be offered, going to the east wing. And you know what? Because of that, because we just have not utilized this hall pass very much at all, I think that's what I want to do. Now, at the same time, I have 12 redraws. Do I ever, like, I probably should have looked at my, floor plans a little bit to maybe strategize about how to use, if I was going to use some of those rerolls to maybe go for something in particular. We'd like to get a treasure trove at the very least today. That is one room I wouldn't mind checking again. Wouldn't mind checking security again. And there's probably some other rooms that I need to look at my notes at to remind myself. Let me actually do that real quick here. Oh yeah, now I might be interested in getting an armory at some point. I would definitely be interested in getting an armory at some point, and then maybe getting a freezer. Torch into freezer to get our last stamp. That would be cool to do. But the thing is, we do have stars that we can use for redraws if we really want to. So I think I'm fine taking the secret passage here. We have our ornate compass as well, and things should be fine. Everything should work out fine. I like the fact as well that the secret passage door is guaranteed to be unlocked, as well as whatever hallway we pick after it. So let's just keep it going. Hallway. Not sure if we've done this one before. Probably done it at least once. Oh, and we do need to check for items because of our rabbit's foot. That is a thing. I'm hoping we aced the exam. Gotta wait to see the results, but it's something I'm going to be looking forward to. I'm going to be thinking about it. Oh, the aquarium. I didn't think about that. Do I take that over an East Wing Hall? It actually gave us 2 East Wing Halls. Is this the first time this has ever happened? I can't remember this ever happening before. East Wing Hall, or any floor plan being offered twice in the same... Apparently, these are the only hallways that are available. The game could not come up with any more to put on our in our draft. If I had not added this second wing, East Wing Hall from the Chamber of Mirrors, we drafted a hallway. It can't give me the rooms like passageway or corridor because we're going into the East Wing. That's really interesting. The hall pass here as... Why does the hall pass show up? Oh, because it's free. That's why. The aquarium is free. We should take it, shouldn't we? It counts as... It gives us steps from our sleeping mask as well. And it counts as... We're still... I think these are all just as likely to show up on the East Wing when we're drafting forward. And I think I like getting the star here. Because we get to have some more redraws from our inkwell. And this probably gets us a dig site. Let's take the Starfish Aquarium. Now, another thing that we can look at here. Okay, the Starfish Aquarium does, in fact, have fish. So this is a good room to remember when it comes to connecting to our new cloister. Get a key. Nice. A key is good. Let's go ahead and draft downward toward rooms that are less likely to be locked. However, when you have a foyer, your Starfish Aquarium is already unlocked no matter what. Haha! No East Wing Hall in this direction, unless we wanted to spend some rerolls. But I'd rather have the East Wing Hall upwards, right, into rank 7 and 8. So this is fine. We probably just take security here. It spends a gem, but we'll still have 5. This lets us turn up our security level all the way, and it lets us review the security surveillance footage that I was nudged to take another look at. So let's settle for security here. This is fine. And we will head in that direction. And who knows, by the time we get to our spare master bedroom, we'll still have like 50 steps and then we're going to add like 50 more steps to it. That'll work. That'll work. Any items? I don't see any items. Okay, so let's do our housekeeping first. Let's actually just view the inventory. There's a coin purse somewhere that I missed. Bro, where is there a coin purse? No, I have no idea where that is. Actually have no idea. Oops. Oopsie, oopsie. No clue. Probably never going to find that thing. Oh, poor me not having my coin purse on any day where we're almost always ending up with so much more gold than we need. And, okay, security settings turned up. Do we want to special order a magnifying glass? We got lucky today, and it showed up in the mailroom. But I think we still want to do it. Because I'm just not sure yet that I've read everything that I need to read. So let's keep doing this. Magnifying glass, go. Just keep the status quo for now. And we can do an experiment. It's always fun to do an experiment. And I don't think I need to get gold from the office. At the same time, we wouldn't mind getting a chronograph at some point. So the office could be a shout. Huh. But it would spread gold all over the place. Oh, we have a metal detector. I'll hold off on this for now. Let me hold off on this remote access. Let's just do the other login. Let's take a look at this footage again from the entrance hall. Oops. Does capital matter? Does not matter, interestingly. Maybe it also doesn't matter for the regular Swan Song password. Not case sensitive. So we go back to 87 and we check the entrance hall again. What did I miss here? What was worth looking at again? Some detail that I didn't notice the first time. Is it the fact... Well, what fact would I think of? We see the two busts in the entrance hall. We see the flowers on the table. And then, is it because we're trying to figure out who is walking? Is the mystery here the person who's walking through the entrance hall? Like, I don't think we can see what he's holding. I was thinking that he was probably bald. Is that detail important? Now, the camera continues to zoom in on the table, even after the guy walks past. I do not understand what I'm supposed to see there. I don't get what I'm supposed to see. Is it... Let's look at the library again. Like, are these supposed to be viewed together in sequence? Or are you supposed to think about them together in sequence? Because maybe this is the same guy here in the library that's with our mom. And I presume this to be... I need to check my safe house notes again to remind myself who the bald guy is. It's not Caleb Manning, I don't think. It's the other guy, Paul Withers. But I think that's a fake name. Philip White? Was that the real name? So he brings her a book. He brings her a book. Is that what we're supposed to... The fact that he's standing over by a bookshelf in... Is there actually a book on the bookshelf in the library that we're supposed to look for where he was standing? I mean, I'm curious to check now. I think I might go straight away and check there. I feel pretty confident about what the security video shows us. The route on the train map. Now, none of these monitors are actually pointed at the entrance hall. Is that correct? I believe so. They aren't right now, at least. Maybe they could be switched. The library is just a few steps back, though. I'm gonna check, because we're gonna end up with way more steps than we need. So let's go back and check here real quick. And maybe we'll see a coin purse in the meantime. Maybe there was a coin purse hiding here in the final exam as our prize. It looked like he was over here. So, is there any book on this shelf that looks like it could be interacted with? There's no book that just visually stands out. Maybe like this one down here. The black one all the way at the bottom. I'm not getting an interact prompt. Unless there is a panel at the back of the bookshelf that's what you're supposed to be interacting with. It was definitely this shelf here, right? It wasn't this one over here. Also the fact that the commenter did not nudge me to take another look at the library footage, but to take a look at the entrance hall footage. That probably means that there's not something here to be interacted with. Okay. I don't know what to do with the entrance hall footage. Let me continue to mull that over for now. Don't give me any nudges just yet on that. Let me keep thinking it over. For now, maybe we'll keep the draft going up here, upward. Try to draft as far as we can to the north, especially if we get an east wing hall here. A conference room, huh? That could be good if we decide to pick up an office. That'd be very nice if we pick up an office. And I don't think I want the veranda because we already have so many items. And we have a lucky rabbit's foot. I think I'm fine picking up a conference room here. No need to spend a redraw to try to get an entrance hall, I don't think. Entrance hall. East wing hall. I think I'd take that over the den. But the den is good. Another gem wouldn't be bad. I like the idea, though, of having a place to spread my gold if we end up there. Let's do the conference room. And we will head in this direction. Get some steps. Any other items on the table? Any other info that I've missed? Possibly. Possibly. Lockpick kit does its job. Oh, that's a casino. I think I'd take that because that gives us gold. I'd love to have that coin purse right about now. Now, I do still have a showroom to go back for, so I may not spend the gold at the casino. I really want to pick up that coin purse. Where would that have been? Could it have been like in the showroom? We've seen items. No, I'm thinking of like gold being spread to the showroom. I was thinking that was an item that showed up. Where would a freaking coin purse have been? The parlor is usually where you see the coin purse, but I don't think we had an item in the parlor. That's so annoying that I didn't get that coin purse. I do spend 2 of my gems if I take the casino here. But I do want that gold. I want the gold. If we run out of If we run out of gems, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to take the casino. As long as we have a gem to draft the... I'm going to leave the gold there for now, but am I really going to leave it and go back for a coin purse where I just don't know where the coin purse is? I probably should just take the gold. I don't have to make the decision just yet, though, because I'm going to come back down here. There's gold in the casino. Don't forget. Let's go up, if it'll let us. I will use a key here. There's a den. Den. Yes, 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 yes. Take my gem, please. There's also a coin here, which I would like to have a coin purse for. How did I miss a coin purse, guys? We'll go this way first. There's an office. Do I take that over a locker room? Yes. And I can spin this upward. So I could have spun the casino as well. I don't know why I didn't. Why did I not spin the casino? Turns out it's not going to matter. So office we take, and we can keep opening up doors, and we'll spread a bunch of gold to the conference room. I still wish I had my stinking coin purse. This is 2 gems. It's a little bit dicey on the gem count here, but I'll still do it. Now, at some point, I want to go back and get a chronograph, and maybe that'll be after we draft these rooms up at the top. Maybe. I think I might go through and draft the office first. See if it opens, at least. Also, we can check for... Oh, there's a gem in here as well. I forgot about that. Yeah. That was definitely a mistake. We should have gone here first. Do I want to start my experiment now, then? Let's start our experiment. Because maybe that gets us some more gold. We won't run... Huh. Does payroll spread? In other words, instead of going to this... It's only if you have the maid's chamber... Let me look at this, right? After running this process, checks will be placed in each staff member's room, which includes servant's quarter and maid's chamber currently on the estate. We have none of those, so it's not going to generate anything. I was thinking it might send them both to the conference room, but I think it only works if you have the rooms. That's how I would interpret it. I could be wrong, of course. Let's do our experiment. Lowercase is totally fine. All this time I've been doing uppercase needlessly. Get me in the laboratory. Get me in, please. What room would that freaking coin purse have been? It wasn't in the foyer. Maybe it was in one of the classrooms that I was too focused studying for the final exam that I missed the item. Let's do our setup. Okay, each time you draft a shop room, we have this letter being delivered to the mailroom again, huh? Let's do that. Let's do that, because apparently there's more letters to be delivered to the mailroom, and that could be a way for us to get our last stamp. Maybe that's the other way besides the freezer. The question is, what's going to proc the most often? Probably not a drawing room. But we've seen the drawing room a few times. Our draft pool is slim enough now, maybe, where the drawing room would show up. But maybe the apple is... Man, this would have been so good before we drafted all our classrooms, wouldn't it? We could have gotten so many letters delivered. Although, there's got to be an upper limit on the letters to the mailroom, right? Maybe we would have completely maxed it out. Maxed them out. So apples now are not necessarily going to happen unless we get a pantry or what else? Some other rooms that may or may not have what we need. We've seen a couple. There's the gift shop that's left. There's the locksmith. There's a kitchen. There are shops still in the pool. I suppose we also could get the drawing room to show up when we're just re-rolling. Like if we're redrawing with stars, the drawing room could show up. I think our best shot at this is gotta be the shop room, right? Unless we somehow were to get our hands on a secret garden and spread a bunch of fruit, then the apple one would be OP. Should we hold out hope for that? We're not going to get our hands on a garage today because of, well, we already drafted the West Wing. So getting a secret garden from the garage, from the car trunk, is out of the question. We'd have to get it from, like, the music room, which is still out there. I feel like the most likely one is the shop room, and we have the most control over this as well, I think. So I think that's the one I'm going to go for. We may only get, like, one letter delivered, but that would be better than nothing. So let's see if we can make that work. I don't care about these others. I don't care about the others. We're gonna give ourselves, hopefully, our last stamp. That's what I'm hoping for. Start. So experiment is online, and now we look for shops, if we can help it. Does this door open? No. 2 keys left. I think I would rather draft from the den to get the corner room first. But at what point am I... 74 steps. I could go and look for a coin purse. And that would allow me to get a whole bunch more gold when I pick up the gold from the casino as well as the gold from the office. But I think I'd rather draft these last 2 rooms first. I think let's go back to the den and let's draft the corner before we do anything else. Lockpick kit still doesn't work, but let's spend a key. We cannot get a trophy room, but we can get a treasure trove. I'll settle for a treasure trove over a conservatory. Getting at least 1 treasure trove a day is definitely one thing that you want to get. The wine cellar, it gives us more flexibility in drafting the rest of our house. But we're close to the end, and if we don't draft every single room left, it's no big deal. Tomorrow rooms do not cost gems. So once we get a treasure trove here, I probably don't go searching. Now I think I don't go searching for a... between the treasure trove and the office and the casino, I'll be able to afford what's left in the showroom. I could even afford a master key. Probably not a master key. It's just that I have the steps to spend, and I kind of want to look for... the coin purse. I'm just so curious where it would be. And we're still going to get a whole bunch of steps from the spare master bedroom, so I could kind of afford to look for it and be the greedy bastard that I like to be. Either way, we're taking a treasure trove. Now, I also have to remember there's still 2 keys in the commissary. So, I could still open this door here. Let's just see if this door opens, but this should be locked, right? And the lockpick kit shouldn't work because it also didn't work from the office. So I could open this now and then come back to the treasure trove once I have the key from the commissary, or the 2 keys from the commissary, as well as the keys from, or the items from the showroom. But at the same time, maybe I want to get the chronograph first from the showroom and draft a tomorrow room here. So I think this is where I will take the time to spend some of my steps and try to look for that coin purse, just because I'm a greedy bastard. Let me see if I can... It's a shame that I don't think the coin purse reacts with the metal detector. If the metal detector could find the coin purse, that would be so sweet. But I don't think it does. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be spending these steps to go back to places that I've been before and hopefully find a coin purse. There was definitely no coin purse in the parlor, so I wasn't overlooking something here. This does happen to give us the chance to go back to the dormitory and pick up the steps that are sitting here. But there's no coin purse, so I didn't miss a coin purse in the dormitory the first time around. Where the hell was this thing? I should have grabbed at least a few of the coins that were in the treasure trove if I'd have thought this through a little bit better, so that I could have bought both of the remaining keys here. So we might have to spend some extra steps to come back here to get another key. We'll see how that turns out. Oh, it's in the master bedroom, isn't it? That's where it's at. We never went in the spare master bedroom because we wanted to save our steps. We wanted to save it until we got a lot more steps. And that moment is now, isn't it? Because I can go back. That's what we're going to do. It's in the master bedroom. We go down the foundation elevator and back to the spare master bedroom. Bro, that was the one. Okay, so we'll do that. We won't draft yet from the spare master bedroom because I want to get a chronograph at this point. Chronograph, moon pendant, do that stuff that we normally do from the... And maybe even a master key. Maybe with the coin purse, I might be able to afford everything. So let's go to the entrance hall. I'm so glad I finally realized that. And before I went looking all the way through all of the rooms that were all the way there up to the showroom. Okay, there we go. That's a healthy looking steps count. And a coin purse. I should have looked. I probably could have seen this from... Well, maybe not. I don't think I could have seen that from the entrance hall, actually. I should have just... maybe checked anyways, but then I would have lost all of those extra 36 steps that we just picked up. So that is good. I don't have to go anywhere else here in the entrance hall. We've got our coin purse now. We get to head back and pick up all those coins. And we do get that nice little extra perk from the hall pass where we don't spend steps through adjoining hallways. Oh my God, poggers. But the way we'll order this is... we will go and get the gold from the treasure trove first, and we'll just... Oh, but we want to go back and draft... That's right, I wanted to get the chronograph. Can I do this all? Let's see how much gold we end up with. Because I think there's like 70 gold here. Spam, 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 spam. Because you can do that. Okay. And the coin purse nets us an additional 17. Wait a minute. The security room said there was like 70 gold in the house. Oh, the casino. I should have picked up the casino gold. So we have 75 gold here. We're going to get 20 more from the casino, right? There's 15 plus the 5 we get from the coin purse. So 95 coins. We wouldn't be able to afford a master key plus the other stuff, but I don't think we need a master key. I don't think we need it. I think we can afford, we still got the 1 key in the commissary. We should be able to afford that as well as the master... Excuse me, the chronograph plus the pendant. So we do those things first, right? We go and grab those first because then, yeah, we want the chronograph. Now, the thing is, if I add the coins from the office, maybe I should just do those now. Spread the coins from the office now to the conference room and then see where my math sits. Probably in any case, I'm still not buying a master key because I'd rather spend my coins at the casino than, like, these doors are mostly going to be open anyways, right? And whatever doors we don't open, we don't open. It's no big deal. I think this should be fine. We're not going to buy a master key. And so then I don't need to spread the coins from the office just yet. I can be greedy and wait one more room. Yeah, in any case, I'm probably overthinking this because I'm not getting a master key. All I need to do is go to, right now, go to the showroom and get the 2 items there. The chronograph being the most important one, but I want the moon pendant as well, so we might as well pick up both. And we'll get the key from the commissary because we can afford that as well, and we have so many steps. So we pick up our usual items at the showroom. Lovely, lovely items. And then we still have left over to get that key from the commissary. Last key acquired, and we still have 57 steps. It feels so nice. So 3 keys. That should be more than enough to get us through the rest of the day. And we get to open up the trunk in the treasure trove as well. So we want to do we've gotten the treasure trove off our list. What other rooms? We're just looking for tomorrow rooms, basically, right? Tomorrow rooms at this point. Clock tower would probably be the most significant one. That as well as the break room. Those are both good for us. So let's see what we get. A freezer. If I get a freezer, then I would want to... Okay, that's an argument actually for spreading the gold now. Spreading the gold and picking up the gold now, because if you do get a freezer, you want to have as much gold as possible going in. There's no guarantee. We might get a sauna, but there's no guarantee that that's going to show up. Even though you do have a chronograph, so there's like a mini guarantee. So let's not be super greedy bastards here, and let's spread our gold and pick it up first, just in case we get a freezer. Okay. And we'll pick up the gold from the casino as well. Speedrun. Spam. Spam, 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 spam. My old man APM here. I would never going to be a Blueprints speedrunner. Just don't have the APM for it. Casino is right next door. Okay, we have all our gold now. So glad we got that coin purse. Figured out where it was. And we still have 40 steps. Life is good. Let's see what this last door has for us up here in rank 9. Lockpick still doesn't work. We knew that was the case. But you gotta try, because you never know. Okay, there's clock tower. I think I just take the clock tower right here and now, make sure we lock that in. Seems good to me. There's a maid's chamber there if we want to do payroll, but I think we're good. Clock tower. Get the tomorrow rooms. Start locking those in. We'll check out the clock tower, because maybe there is a silver stopwatch, which would be useful to us. There is, in fact, a silver stopwatch. Okay. So... I would at least want to use my die before the day is done. And this is going to allow us to bypass any locked doors. So we just go straight to security and start drafting, right? And we try to get a tomorrow room to the side. And then another room that keeps our draft going downward. I probably am willing to spend a couple stars, at least. Maybe 3 or 4 stars if I have to. But we don't rush this if we're rushing into a bad decision, if we feel like it. Don't let the silver stopwatch steer you into that bad decision territory. Just take the little bit of freebie action that you get and be happy with that. We go from the clock tower. We're gonna have to come back. Because I did this first, we're gonna have to come back to the treasure trove, but that's okay because we're not spending steps here. So we go down to the security and we draft to the side. And we don't have to use a key. We take a freezer. Yes. And then we take... we use another key here. We take a drawing room. What? I hate how that works. We're going to take a pantry to keep our draft going. We're going to open this door, and that becomes a break room. And then we open this door, and we... That's so weird. I think we had this happen before, but it wasn't because of the freezer, was it? It was because, unfortunately, there's some fine print on the stopwatch that even though it removes gem restrictions, that's only if you can afford the room in the first place. If you don't have the gems necessary, it's not going to let you through. Like, it would let you take the music room here if you had 2 gems that were not frozen, and you just wouldn't spend them. But because your gems, maybe because they're frozen as well, I'm not sure, Like if we had 2 frozen gems, would that count? But we weren't able to take the drawing room. I wasn't able to take the drawing room there. And I think I have to settle for the workshop here if I want to keep my draft going. So let's go ahead and do that. I think so. Or we redraw, right? We could redraw here if we want to. Is there any reason to... I think we just take the workshop, right? Ultimately, we could go back around to the spare master bedroom if we really want to, but I don't want to at this point. The way I'd like to finish this off is we get like an elbow room that we can spin with the floor with the compass. We get an elbow room below the workshop. And then we are able to get a T-shaped room over here that lets us draft 2 tomorrow rooms to end the day. That's the ideal. Now I could have taken the sauna. But then I'm fine taking these resources into tomorrow. This is fine the way this is. I think we just take the workshop here. And we'll think about spending our redraws on the next room. That's fine for me. I'm fine with that. Compass. I'm fine picking up a compass? Question mark? Yeah, it's no problem. I don't think that hurts us at this point. So we just need to go back to the treasure trove to check the note. That's the one stipulation here, and we are starting to get a little bit low on steps, but that's probably okay. We would like to get an armory, because an armory would let us unfreeze the, like we can actually make a burning glass to thaw out the freezer box again, but then we lose our magnifying glass. I want to get that last stamp. I also totally forgot about the experiment. I don't know if we've been offered a shop since we started the experiment, but an armory would fit the bill. I'd love to get an armory now. Do I want to make anything before that? Like a dowsing rod? Can we make a dowsing rod? What do you need for a dowsing rod? I forgot. What are my... Let me look at my contraptions here real quick. Is there anything that I want to make? I'm min-maxing this draft way more than it needs to be, but I can't help myself, guys. It's just too much fun to min-max when you're playing blueprints. Let me turn on my notes here so y'all can see, but I need to go to my workshop. Or I go to the library. Which one is... The library has the better quick cheat sheet. The dowsing rod is shovel plus compass. We could make that. We got like 3 rooms left. What does it matter? But there's a moon pendant. So making these contraptions to take into the next day is not a bad move. We could also make a lucky purse, I just realized. Yo. Lucky purse, huh? Could also make a pick sound amplifier. We could make 3 different contraptions. I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to flip and do that. Let's get this off the screen. I'm going to make 3 different contraptions because I'm feeling like it. Metal detector plus... what did it just say? Metal detector plus lockpick kit. That makes a pick sound amplifier. Let's make some contraptions, guys, because I'd rather take one of these contraptions into day 39 than the single standalone items. That's more fun. I think it is. Coin purse plus lucky rabbit's foot. Let's go. Should have made this before picking up all the coins. Mistake. And the last one, compass plus shovel. Been a while since we made the dowsing rod. I love that duct tape sound. Okay. Now we just hope for an armory. And I probably would spend a couple rerolls here to try to get that armory. We'll see. There's apparently an item in the sauna. The sauna would also let us unfreeze our assets. if we wanted to do that. And then we could refreeze them by going to the freezer. Do I re-roll here to try to get an elbow room? Because otherwise I'm going to have to go all the way around to the spare master bedroom and draft the rest from there. Or I could just settle for the sauna, and that's it. Because we already do have the sauna, the break room, the freezer, and the clock tower. I could just say, that's all I'm going to do. Don't worry about more tomorrow rooms. I'm guessing the item in the sauna is probably like a gem. It's probably not anything worth unfreezing our assets for. But of course, if we just get to refreeze them, then we might as well, right? Unfreeze, pick up your gem, go refreeze. And maybe take a spin at the casino wheel before you do that. Now, the funny thing about the armory is, if it has a torch, we have to unfreeze our assets if we want to actually buy the stinking torch. So we would still need a sauna at some point. But if I take the sauna here and I want to go back to the spare master bedroom to try to get an armory still, I think I'm going to run out of steps. I think I need to spend some redraws here to go for the elbow that connects me back to the spare master bedroom. I think I need to do that. If things don't work out exactly right, it's fine, but I think at the very least, if we get an armory or any other shop, we'll add some letters to the mailroom, and maybe that gets us the stamp that we want anyways from the freezer. So I think the correct move here is to redraw, and we might spend some stars as well to make sure we get a room that gets us to the rest of the East Wing, excuse me. Let's spend a die. Like, ultimately, oh, we have the chronograph as well. I forgot about that. Now we get to take a passageway. I totally forgot that we have the ability to rewind. That was a very easy redraw, wasn't it? We have the planetarium as well. Wouldn't be a bad idea to pick up the planetarium before the end of the day, or a code check. These all buff our clock tower, but we're taking a passageway first. It's also, if it wasn't already axed, it would have been free, thanks to our... No, the hall pass only works when you're in adjoining hallways. Forgot about that. Okay, passageway. And then maybe we will get an East Wing hall, and that will give us that value from our... Dang it. We did not get our... whatchamacallit, the value from our hall pass. I think I'm going to redraw here because I want a room that goes in both directions. I could take the dark room, but I have no utility closet, so I am not going to take that risk. Not going to take the risk. We got the stars. Let's spend them. And we get to go back if we want. There is a kitchen. That's interesting. That gets us a letter. Maybe I should settle for the kitchen. Now, again, I could spend another redraw, and I kind of want to, and then we can rewind to come back. I think I want to do that. I think I want to do that. But this would get us one more letter at the very least from our experiment. Let's do one redraw and see what we get. No three-way room, so we will rewind. Do I redraw again? That would take us down to 49 stars, and then if we leave it there, we're getting our inkwell straight away to start next day when we get a laboratory. An observatory. I'm getting so many rooms mixed up because my brain is fried. This draft has gone on way too long, like every other draft that we've done. I'm going to do another redraw. If I get, I just want to get a T-shaped room. Mount Holly gift shop would be the best. Not giving it to us. Okay, maybe now we settle for the kitchen. Oh, but we can't take the kitchen. What am I doing? I'm a dingus. I have no gems. I cannot take a kitchen. I cannot take a kitchen. I'm a dingus. I don't think I would have taken anything else that I've been offered. Anything else that I've been offered so far. So now is when I will take the East Wing Hall. Okay. I can't take a kitchen, guys. And I don't think I can take an armory either, because I have no gems. The one downside, I've taken the freezer here. Dang it. Okay. So we don't get to proc our experiment at all, do we? Because we took that freezer. That's a bummer. That's a bit of a bummer. Unless I take a sauna, right? This is where maybe we should seriously think about taking a sauna. Any items here? We should maybe think about a sauna, guys. I think I'd think about taking a sauna here in this spot if I can get my hands on one. We have a Kochek and a planetarium. The dowsing rod is pointed at the drawing room because of a gem. Is that right? We can't take that anyways. So we could spend another star here to try to get a sauna and come back to these, fall back to the planetarium if we have to. Let's do that. I'm okay to spend some stars here, right? We're going to get our stars back up in no time. Spend them when you've got them. The Geist bedroom is interesting, but I don't think it's good enough. How many stars am I going to spend here? Maybe a couple more. I might do a couple more. I just don't remember exactly what, where I would want to leave it in order to get a good set of observatories for the next day. So I'm not going to try to min-max that too far. No kitchen. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. I think this is my last redraw. And then I'll settle for a planetarium. Because the planetarium gets me a die, correct? There's a sauna. Okay. Okay. We take the sauna and we can thaw our assets. So now we do have a gem to draft a shop. There we go. There's some coins here as well, for what it's worth. Alrighty. So, and we get the double coins from the lucky coin purse. So now we might spend a few more stars and see if we can get a shop. I wouldn't mind getting a shop here in this last spot to connect us to the master bedroom and get us at least one letter in the mailroom. If we have to settle for a tomorrow room, we can do that, but I think I want to try to redraw here. We got the redraws, let's use them. This is what we have so many stars for. Reading Nook is not good enough. We got stars. Use them. Pump room's not good enough either. It's not what I want. The vault, I can't afford. It's not a consideration. I'm gonna do one more. Yeah, no crap, there's items in the vault. No crap, dowsing rod. Do we hold here at 42? Do we just call it a day here? We didn't get any additions to our mailroom. No new letters. We're not going to get a... I would love to get an armory. I want to spend a few more redraws. Like, I know this is going to really hit our star count, but we've already... It's going to get back up to snuff in no time, especially if we decide to call it a day in the planetarium. I know we always do the break room. Hard to pass up. But we've got Starfish Aquarium. Like, there's ways to boost our star count. Spend the stars. Spend the stars. Yo, the armory is free? The armory is free? Are you serious? The armory is free? We're taking the armory. That's what we did this for. That's why we did it. We get a letter. And we get a torch. Yes. Yes. It took a second for my dilapidated, scuffed, sleep-deprived brain to actually cue into the fact that that was a torch on the wall, but we do in fact get the torch. And now we take this mace as well, because that gets us an additional star. That's another way to get our star count back up. Beautiful. Don't need the Knight's Shield, because that's another 45-room house, folks. Let's go. Okay, 34 steps. Let's think about how we sequence this rest of the draft, because we still have the note in the treasure trove that I want to take a look at. But I also want to take a look at the mailroom. We're right by the mailroom. We might as well check that now, right? The only other stretch goal that I had for today was maybe going back to the sigil, back to the nuance sigil and giving one more shot there, but I'm not sure we're going to have the steps if I want to do everything. Let me just take a moment and think. Can I do everything that I want to do? Oh, we don't have to go to the mailroom because we kept our magnifying glass, right? I did not make the mistake of making a burning glass. We kept our magnifying glass, and so we have our torch now that lets us thaw out the freezer. That gets us our last stamp. We don't have to go to the mailroom, even though I want to go to the mailroom eventually to read the new letter there, but we can save that for another day. So how does that change my step count now? It's going to be cutting it really close, but I think we might be able to unfreeze the freezer, read the note in the treasure trove, and go down and try the nuance sigil with a few different weather patterns, and then still make it back to the break room? Maybe. It's going to be cutting it close, but let's go one step at a time. Let's at least go to the freezer first, right? Or do we go somewhere? We also want to do the casino spin. That's the other thing here. I'm such a greedy bastard. I think I want to do the casino spin. And if it turns out that we don't get to go do the sigil today, that's fine. We can save the sigil for later. So the first order of business here is to go spin the wheel at the casino. That's going to be the first thing, because we're starting the day with 67 allowance. I don't think I'd rather spend my gold here on a casino spin and just carry over like 20 of it. We're not going to make any more inventions. We'll see if we make it back to the break room, but we probably will. Oh, we need to do the break room puzzle. What am I thinking? I completely forgot this is probably how we ended up missing a break room puzzle, because I just drafted it and ran through one day. Let's do the puzzle here before I forget, because we got to get the trophy at some point. 9. Ah, we got a square in here. Now, where does that fall in the order of operations? Do we add these first and then square? That would make 9, wouldn't it? Do the addition. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. That is how that works. Okay. Now we go from the inside out. So we do 16 plus 14 is 30. Minus 10 is 20. Minus 15 is 5. Pretty straightforward. We take 5 and then we square it right away. So that gives us 25. Then we multiply by 2 to get 50. Then we subtract 20 to get 30. We subtract 15 to get 15. Yay, math is fun. Keys don't matter. Anything to pick up in the conference. There is a coin back here. And it gets doubled. Okay, so, oh, and the coins. Oh, and I forgot about the step here. We might be good now. I forgot about the banana in the pantry. Yo, ultra poggers. Okay, so this is all coming together, isn't it? So now we go to the casino first before I freeze my assets. And we spin the wheel. That banana, that is so clutch. We're also picking up some extra steps with this hall pass, but I think I was already factoring that in when I was doing my initial count. And I think it was gonna... Oh, why was I thinking we were spending 20? Or, sorry, 50. It's 5, 20, and 100. Okay. There's no way I can get up to 100, I don't think. There's nothing else I can do in the house today that gets me 100 coins. 20 coins and gets me to 100. We don't have a servant's quarters or a maid's chamber. Let's just spin what we can and we'll take the rest over into tomorrow. It's fine. 20 coins. Maybe it gets us the nicest allowance total ever. Or it gets us absolutely nothing. Okay. Casino. Yay. So we had our fun at the casino. Now we go to the treasure trove. This draft has been so much fun, but I say that after every draft, guys, because this game is the best. Okay, the previous box in this room contained a true statement, except this is a red note. This is a red note here. Let me take this screenshot. Screenshot. And screenshot. I will catalog that later. I'm not going to take the time now to check what that is exactly. Now we go to the freezer, correct? And we check. We thaw out the note and we add it to our stamp collection. It's what we do. I just need to remember where the freezer is. It's connected to security. Security. We could also thaw out a whole bunch of other stuff, except it's too late now. My stuff has been refrozen, so any assets that I add now How do you do this? I guess you have to, in order to get the gems from the freezer, you have to draft the furnace nearby. That's the only way to do that, right? Sound is glitching out because I'm so many hours into the draft, always leaving the game running way too long. Here we go. There it is, guys. There it is. Kararika. Look at that cool snowy mountain statue. I'll take a couple screenshots for my own posterity. But there it is. Kararika's got to be snowy, right? Gotta be. Sweet. Anything else to magnifying glass here on the letter? I don't think so. Cool. So that should now fill out our stamp collection. Excellent. So now, assets are frozen. Do we have the steps to make it to sigil, nuance sigil, and then back to the break room? I think we will. I think that banana put us over the top. So let's spend a little bit of time here. I think I've got the remaining brain power that I need. I just need to not turn the wrong way. But I think I've got the brain power and I've got the steps to give one more shot to the nuance. We're just going to try all the different weather patterns. I think I feel so strongly about the fact that nuance is a diamond, that it's the green border / banner, that it is academic based on what we see on the geography chart. And so, and it's also got to be dirigibles, the stamp. It's a freaking blimp. Okay, that step from the foundation to the basement I didn't account for, but I think we're still good. I think we're still okay. I think, because the reservoir then goes into the inner sanctum. I don't think I was counting... Oh, I did not count the underpass. We might not be okay now. We've come this far. We've come this far, and if we don't make it back to the break room, we might barely not make it back to the break room, but we'll see. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. But I love my key card, guys. I can't live without it. We only used the key card like once or twice today. We did not use it hardly at all. Okay, so let's set this up with the academic moat. Metropolitan. That's academic, right? Let me bring up my sigil, realm and rune, sigil notes that have been waiting this whole time to be put to use. Academic is 3 bars, good. And then for the border, the slanted lines are green. And then weather, we're gonna just try it all. We're gonna try it all, guys. But we've tried normal already. We haven't tried foggy. I wouldn't think that fog gets used again, but I could be wrong. That's the only thing I'm gonna do. We're just gonna set this to dirigible aviation. We're gonna set the border to green. Now, we've tried normal like this, right? So if we go to where I've taken screenshots of the stuff we've tried. We've tried normal weather. This is a white border here, but we've tried it also with a green border here. And we also did it with is it the industrial moat? Whatever moat comes next. We have not tried foggy weather yet. Does that work? No. Foggy weather does not work. I'll take no, it's fine. I'll take the screenshot later. So foggy weather does not work. Let's try the next one. We have tried this one. We've tried rainy weather. But we've not tried stormy weather. I don't know why stormy weather would be associated with nuance, but we try. Yes, this is a little brute forcey, and I don't like it. But I'm trying it anyways. We did not try the wavy lines. That's heat. I don't see why this would work. It doesn't strike me as, based on the limited information we have, it doesn't seem like it's a super hot area, but we'll try it. Nope. So that leaves Snowy. Is that the only one we haven't tried? Could there be like mountaintops and stuff there? And that's why they need dirigibles? Go back around to the green border. Is it snowy? Nope. That's all of them, isn't it? Because we tried the curved lines for windy. And then that cycles back around to normal. There's something I'm fundamentally missing here. Either I've got the border wrong, or I've got the type of transportation wrong, or I've got the moat wrong. And I don't want to do any more brute forcing beyond that. But we will add those attempts to the list of things that we've tried. There's got to be a sanctum key around that corner, right? I want to know, but I'm a little frustrated that this one is not... I'm apparently not interpreting the information correctly, So yeah, nothing more to be done right now. I don't have a sanctum key. I can't open any of these other doors. So we're going back. If we can make it. We'll find out shortly if we have enough steps to make it to the break room. But in any case, this is where we will wrap up this once again incredible installment of Blueprints. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoy videos like this. I certainly get a kick out of them, and sometimes I think, like, when we're going through the notes review and reviewing for the final exam, I'm like, these poor viewers, they're like falling asleep out there, but I have a feeling you guys love it. So thank you for hanging out with me, and if you did enjoy the video, consider doing the YouTube thing and hitting those buttons down below. It does help a ton. It helps share the video with people like you that would also get a kick out of it. And this was great. Another bit of really good progress today. I'm hoping we aced our exam. We'll find out soon enough. But we also got to add that final stamp to our stamp collection. We got a nice freezer to carry over some assets into tomorrow, and I think we're going to have just enough steps to make it back to our break room. We've turned in our request form for a new clue. We'll take a look at that perhaps tomorrow. And yeah. What else did we do today? Let's get to our... Let me get my brain to focus on the one last task that it has in front of it. There's probably more that we could do here. Not the freezer. There's probably more that we could do in security, puzzling over some security footage, but we're going to call it a day here for now in the break room. And we'll see what we carry over. We've made our purchases in the showroom, and even if we hadn't, all our stuff is frozen. So that's the end of it. Good day. Freezer, moon pendant, good set of tomorrow rooms, so we'll be healthy on resources tomorrow. We ended up with an academic University of Tomorrow. Is that a first? I don't remember ever doing that before. It gave us 2 lines of stuff here, 9 classrooms plus a library, but then it decided to tell it to us again. 9 classrooms, a library, a dormitory, and 5 tomorrow rooms. So that's its own unique combination, apparently. That's fun. We did not get to draft the tunnel again, but the classrooms took priority. Hopefully, we'll get to draft the tunnel tomorrow, and then draft more tunnels. That's what I want to do. I want to draft multiple tunnels strung together. What happens when we do that? But this was a really fun draft. We did add a letter to the mailroom as well. We'll have to check that. We didn't get around to it this day. Maybe we could have just had barely enough steps if I'd have gone there, but it's fine. We'll check the mailroom later. We'll make note of that. And we'll need to get our star count back up, because we had to spend a whole bunch in the inkwell, but that's what the stars are there for. Use them when you got them. Man, this game is so dang good. Can't wait to see what's going to happen on day 39. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.